Hey everybody, welcome to bonus content. It's me, Alex, your boy, your father.
Yeah, boy.
Your father. Oh my gosh.
I know the dark twist of the Irrational Passions audience.
Dad, come back.
I'll never come back. Tony's here. Jake is here.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You'll get your formal intro once we kind of get the show proper started. But Jake, how's life, dude?
Dude, life is great. We just came off this like huge kick of Kingdom Hearts 3 and still playing that game. But I got to start trying new games.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
got to play
finding
other
the time
video
to play
games
that.
now.
I know. I got to find that. I got to get Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I think before that I need to get Tales of Vesperia.
Yes,
I
dude.
think that's my next.
You know I support
quest.
this
Oh, I know you do.
so much. What's it like moving on? So you finished. I'm going to include myself here because I include myself in this big project. We finished this Kingdom Hearts endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
The goal was to do a podcast about all those Kingdom Hearts games. We did that. You did it.
We did that.
You did a thing.
I can't believe it. I can't believe we even made it to 3.
Yeah.
To say we finished this.
Yeah, and it's done. Looking back on all the Three Best Friends podcast, the limited edition, how do you feel about like the Kingdom Hearts package, like front to back?
I'm just happy that we got there. The fact that it's finally a story that's concluded in a way, and there's still more to come
Yeah.
down the road. But just the fact that starting from the beginning, and they added stuff in down the road, like it's kind of like a Fast and Furious franchise. Like, all right, so spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't, watched Fast and Furious. Han dies, and so in the movie, Han dies, and it's just like a car hits him.
Yeah.
Later on, Jason Statham is added into the movie, like, I killed Han. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's not really whatever you guys did.
Yeah,
So
that
there's
was
like-
added.
Yeah. This is
So there's like
additional
certain
content.
additional content that was put in, like with Dream Drop Distance.
Tokyo
with-
Drift final mix. Yeah. I got
I
you.
need that in my life right now.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, you got everything edited in, and then just like Fast and Furious, it's about family. It's about friends. So we're gonna have a Fast and Furious world one of these days as DLC. I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I like it's gonna be in the Metal Gear limited edition that you do. Like, it turns out that like someone came and killed me during the Kingdom Hearts limited edition and replaced me. That's why I said like a couple of different things toward the end of the series. It's gonna be a whole retcon.
That's all you and Matt and whoever else joins in on that one. Mike and I, we wipe our hands clean.
I mean, like you did this series of podcasts about this franchise, and like you've now like done it front to back. Like,
Yeah,
how does that feel?
it's amazing feeling like the fact that we even like starting off as Three Best Friends podcast, we were just doing stuff like, hey, let's just have a conversational podcast and do this. And so that's how we started off. And then to go into limited edition where it's like, all right, we're going to review a game series. That ended up being like our better thing to do with the podcast. And it just felt so natural and something new as well that you don't really see a lot of people doing right now.
Yeah.
So just being able to find a complete one chapter of a limited edition series and then going into our next one, it's honestly been awesome. And thankfully our lore master, Alex O'Neill, joined us because, boy, that would have been a train wreck if he didn't.
Honestly, I wish I hadn't, just so I could see you guys front to back, like what the feeling was.
You would have been so pissed. You would have unsubscribed so fast.
Absolutely. I would have been livid. I would have sent you a corrections email like 12 pages long every episode.
Every week we're gonna ask like, does anyone have any questions? Like Alex is like, yeah,
I
here's
got
how
some
the show
fucking
should really
questions.
be.
I got some questions about your formatting choices.
I have several inquiries.
I have a couple of pages of notes, which is to say 23. I'm just going to forward you to them in duplicate.
And by the way, y'all have been Norded.
And also-
we don't even know what that means.
Norded. No, that was really fun, obviously, for me. We'll kind of revisit that once we get into the show proper. But I don't know, I think it's really cool. Like, we've been doing the book club show, video game book club, which some point when this next episode comes out, we're going to kind of announce the format change of that is going from like a monthly book club show to like it's just going to be a bi-weekly podcast where we're playing through a game until we finish it, and then we'll go on to the next game, and it's just going to come out every other week instead of like, all right, here's the March game, here's the February game. And I'm excited about that. I think that's going to make the book club easier to follow. But that's been like a really cool thing of like slowly going through a game and kind of splitting a game into 2 or 3 episodes and talking about the sections of it. And I've been doing Raccoon City Radio with Andrew Taylor, which is a very similar thing. It's just kind of like an elongated book club just for the one game for the two of us. So like I think what you guys did with limited edition is really cool. I think it has a different vibe. It doesn't feel just like a book club. And I think a big part of that is how like Matt would kind of name everything and break everything apart. And you'd be kind of encompassing some wide section of the story that all fit together thematically, at least in regards to Kingdom Hearts. So I'm excited to see you guys do that with Pokemon. Do you have any like specific ideas for how that's going to go, or are you just going to just do the game at a time?
Yeah, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to like break off the series. I still need to talk to them about how they want to do this, but I feel like we might put Let's Go with the red, yellow, and blue, put them all together, but we might not. Just because even though they are the same games in a way, they're totally different at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to break it off by series for each time. So like we'll start off with like, the red, blue, yellow, and then we're going to add fire, leaf green, and fire, red, and leaf green into that series as well. So put those 5, because then you add, Let's Go, then you're going to talk about 7 games altogether, and that's too much.
I will say though, I almost like the idea of, because like we had like the different kind of names for the Kingdom Hearts for like iterations. Like part 1 was One Sky, One Destiny, or whatever it ended up being. I like the idea of like part 1 being Kanto, right? Like here's the Kanto, and maybe each of you ends up playing a different version of that game,
and that's exactly what we're doing.
That's cool. Yeah. I think that like brings one, because each of you has like a little bit of a different perspective. It's Mike, you, and Matt, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the 3 prime hosts. You guys like bring a little bit of a different perspective. Obviously, the trouble there is that some of them just mechanically are a little bit more modern than other iterations.
Yeah.
Like personally, I could never go back to OG Red and Blue. I just think it feels like very ancient, like very slow.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like EXP shares, like I don't really want to play Pokemon without that at this point.
And whatever EXP share that they had through the originals was just downright awful.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, and like even in the original Red and Blue, like there's no held items and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I think that would be cool. And then like obviously, Johto and the Soul Silver, Heart Gold, and then the original versions, and Crystal.
Yeah, and Crystal. That's the one I'm going to be playing, because I've never played through Crystal ever.
Yeah, Crystal's great. That was the version of that game that I ended up playing. So
nice.
I think there's a lot of potential there for it to be a really cool series.
Oh yeah, and there's like, especially now, like with the Pokemon talk, hopefully soon we find out about Gen 8. Yeah, which a lot of people thought was going to be heard soon, but
yeah, I think that's
not a big deal.
Thing. Or like a May independent Pokemon event. So it's soon. It's very soon. How's life just in general outside of video games?
Outside of video games, life is good. Work is busy.
Mm-hmm.
Started working as they call it a member consultant, but it's pretty much a loan officer with a credit union. So I started that about in January.
Do you repo people's houses?
Oh, I do. I'm the repo man.
You are the repo.
I'm gonna be the new Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, you're Jude Law from the Repo Man the movie. Come in and take out people's organs.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you didn't pay. Well, I'm gonna take you out.
I'm gonna take your lungs, dog.
I'm gonna take your lunch money.
I love it.
But yeah. No, but I'm the one who gives the money to them, after they send it off after I send it off to underwriting. So it's like, hey, they come in, it's like, did I get approved? Like, you sure did. So here we go. Let's close that loan.
And for the people that didn't get approved, you just like send them a courtesy email.
I call them and I leave a voicemail like, don't call me again.
Hey, I'm leaving this voicemail, but that's not an invitation for you to call back and ask questions. I really don't want to talk to you.
Like, I may say, if you have any questions, call me back, but I swear your number's right to voicemail. Like, I know who it is.
Now I'm going to ask you this question
again,
Jake. And
okay.
You can feel free to decline answering.
I feel like you've asked something like this before, and I didn't decline it. So I don't feel like I'm going to decline this one.
How do I get good credit?
Wow, Alex, that's an amazing question that a lot of people don't like teach you that, and it's like it's such a
there's no class in
there's
high
no
school.
class, and they need to teach it. I always get mad because they need to teach it. The first thing, like when you if you're 18 or even 19 and you haven't started anything with credit, I swear, go into a credit union. Don't go to a bank. Banks rip you off their higher rates or they charge many fees. Credit unions are the way to go, to be honest. But go in, see if you can start a small $500 credit card. We offer like a $250 credit card to start off with, but I'm like, $250 does nothing.
See, I started with a $200 credit card.
Yeah, and it's like, because the way your credit score is impacted, like 35% of your score is impacted by good repayment history. And then the next 30% of the credit score is capacity through all your credit cards. So say you had a $200 credit card and they don't want to see like 50% or higher on your capacity. So if you're already using 100 and you let the statement stay for the 100 and it reports on your credit report that way, you're already using 50% and they ding you on that for your points. So that's 35% of your credit score. So that's why I say like 500.
What's a good amount of credit to have when the month rolls over?
So we have different tiers on for the rates that we have. So like anything 740 and above through Experian will get you the best rate that we have. And then we have a 700 to 739, which if you're in the 700s, you're doing excellent. If you're in the 600s, it's decent, I will say. Like higher 600s is the best, but if you're in the 600s, and then 500, okay, we need to work on some things. But
I got news for you,
in that
Jake.
position.
I need to work on some things.
Hey, I need to work on some things too. Like previously, I had to work on some things. Like I decided to I had a medical bill that I needed to pay. It was like I ended up getting charged by a hospital like $11,000 because I had a kidney stone removed, and I didn't have insurance until like I had the procedure done December 18th. I had insurance beginning in January, but the surgery couldn't wait.
Yikes.
So the hospital charged me $11,000, and then all the other doctor bills cost like over $2,000.
Yikes.
And so thankfully the bigger bill was like knocked down a little bit, but I still put all that onto credit cards when I was young, and that was dumb.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done that. Don't ever do that. I'd rather have the medical bill go right to collections and ding me that way.
Mm-hmm.
But putting it on the credit cards, then you're maxing your capacity, you're ruining your score, and then trying to pay that all off with the interest just accruing, no, it's not going to happen. Like it sucks. And so I had to do a consolidation loan to pay all that off. But because I was working with the credit union, they're like, well, we know when you get paid, we know where you are if you don't pay. So we're taking this right out of your paycheck anyways.
Jeez.
But not everyone's, privy to getting a personal loan to get out of debt. But honestly, making good repayment history, trying to pay down as much credit cards as you can and not using them is like probably the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
But
tell me about it.
That's honestly a struggle everywhere. It's like if you can try and get a personal loan to pay off the cards and then maybe stick with just one credit card. Because the problem is like when we do like consolidation loans to pay off credit cards, I always tell our members like, do not close the credit card that you've had open the longest, because they also like length of time that you've had this credit. So we had someone close down their credit card that they had for like 20 years and their credit score took a hit, even though it'll build up eventually because their capacity's up.
Yeah.
But because they took out their oldest trade line, their how they rate the credit score is also dumb too, because it's just random.
Everything
crap.
about credit is terrible. You understand that, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it's absolutely terrible, and I hate it because they don't teach you how to get the good credit. They don't teach you how to like improve your credit score, but they're like, oh, you're rated on this number. That means jack, to be honest.
Yeah. It really doesn't, like, because like I have bad credit, but like I know I'm like I have a reliable source of income. I've never been late on a payment. I don't have any debt, save for like my 2 credit cards, like which are fine. Like they're managed very well. Even if like I'm using more than 50% of my credit month over month. So yeah, credit's dumb, but the world runs on credit.
It does, and it's like even more places now. I think like insurance companies are starting to look at credit now too before they offer car insurance and stuff like that, which is like, all right, that's not making any sense.
Yeah. Tony.
Hello.
How's your credit?
Maybe this is working.
You don't have to. It's working. I can hear you. Can you hear me, Tony?
Yeah, but I can't hear any of you except for in very short bursts.
Oh.
Is it like cutting in and out?
It's like as if like, and it's weird because nothing else is lagging on my end. You guys will just freeze for like a solid 2 minutes and then come back for like 10 seconds.
Try restarting Discord because I think they're having some issues.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do that real quick.
Cool.
My whole spiel on credit, he didn't get to hear it.
I heard like bits and pieces of it.
Listen, I'm not saying any of that all over again.
That's all right.
I'm just kidding.
I'm excited about my future credit possibilities, but right now it's not looking good, y'all.
Hey, a lot of times like places like this is why I like credit unions, because like some of our underwriters are actually human. And they look into good repayment histories and they'll see why a number's low. Like if a number's low because of maybe a collection from medical or something dumb, like something just dumb that shouldn't be reported, because a lot of places look at medical bills and medical collections like, why are they even on here? It's like we ignore them. Like we take them off your liabilities. It's like you're not going to pay it and they shouldn't be impacting you that way, but
that's interesting.
They are.
Hi Tony, can you hear us? All right.
It is no better.
It is no better?
Not at all.
That's really weird.
Yeah, hopefully it kind of just goes away.
Okay. Tony, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good week. Been just kind of chilling, getting my stuff done. You know how it is. You know how it be.
How it be. Yeah.
Living the life.
Living your best life?
Improving my credit score.
Okay.
That's
one point at a time,
Hey, I don't judge people's credit score because I actually feel more sympathy for people with lower credit scores, because like back when I worked at a credit union back in New York, I've had a few members that had like credit scores in the 500s, and before we did this like training, like someone had like 500 credit score, and like underwriters would simply deny their credit request no matter what it was. Like if it was like a personal loan to pay off credit cards, like if that would have actually helped build their credit up, they would have denied it. But then we went through this training, and so this couple came in and we paid off a bunch of, collections that were like credit cards based and helped build up their credit. And then they got an auto loan, and then they got a credit card through us. And like before I left for New York, or from New York to California, the guy's credit score went up to over a 700. So He was like in the 500 and then went up to 700 in like a year. So it's like one of my proud points. I was a loan officer, got to help someone build up their credit.
Eventually I'll hit 100 again.
That's the spirit. It's like,
hey,
it's not
goals.
I just have to pay off one of my 13,000 overdone or over the limit credit.
Oh yeah.
My one of my 20 maxed out cards, just rolling by. I feel you, Tony. One day I'll be above 10 too.
I actually only have one credit card. So.
Yeah, I have 2, but they're like.
I've had it for like forever though.
For some reason, they put like a minus sign in front of my score. I don't know if that's just.
Yeah, it's like negative 600. I heard 600 is good. So.
Hey, 600 is good.
It's still an integer, so I think it's positive.
Right.
I'm on the spectrum, y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get into any shenanigans this week, Tony?
Shenanigans.
Oh, shenanigans, man.
No, there have been too many video games to play this week. Straight up.
That's awesome. There have been a lot of video games to play. I concur. I know, Jake, you've played nothing but multiple different video games this week.
Nothing but multiple different video games named Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. I mean, really, what other video game do you need? But
I do want to play with like the liquors and Mr. X, but I gotta wait for that.
You want to play with them?
Yeah,
I'm gonna take that out of context.
I hear they're nice people. Like they're really nice.
Man, we should
smash your face in.
We should just take a break out of all of my explicit things that I said on Three Best Friends and just make an out of context podcast that's very terrible because I said some incriminating shit on that show, or at least I feel like I did. I don't remember any of it.
I don't remember any of it either, but I'm pretty sure you did.
I know at least 3 times on 3 different episodes I said, don't take that out of context. So.
Oh, you have. Now I want to go back and I really want to do that now.
Just don't listen to the recap podcast.
Oh my God. Oh, the recap.
You know what? I had a good time. Just don't listen to it.
If you got like 5 hours to waste, go ahead and listen to it.
Throw it all away. Nicole Humphrey, who's watching right now, says she's playing Kingdom Hearts 1 right now.
Well,
you should stop.
Enjoying it.
Please don't. The gummy ship is terrible.
Kingdom Hearts 1 gummy ship's rough.
Listen.
Yeah.
If all you do is play Kingdom Hearts 1 and you get to defeat Sephiroth, it's been worth it.
It's been worth it, yeah.
Tony, you get to listen to... Wait, should I ruin who the voice actor of Sephiroth is in that game?
I'm sure our chat right now knows. But it's Lance Bass.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I'll say, like, a thing that has aged well. David Boreanaz as Cloud Strife. Big fan. I didn't warn you, Jake, but Tony is a Kingdom Hearts hater.
Oh. And he said he disappeared. See, that's what happens when you talk shit about Kingdom Hearts. You disappear.
Yeah, and y'all
go
are
away
gone
to darkness.
Again.
He went away to darkness.
Yeah, he fell into darkness.
Hello?
Hi, Tony.
Wait. I need a.
Tony? Oh, everyone's a robot now. What is happening?
I am robot.
Man, this is the worst it's ever been.
Tony, I don't know what you did.
Oh no!
Try restarting your computer.
That wouldn't change anything.
I don't think it would change anything either. I'm just trying to throw ideas out there. I guess I genuinely think Discord is having some issues tonight, though.
It is. I need to find the English cast of Kingdom Hearts because it keeps giving me the Japanese cast.
And David Boreanaz is really all you need. Is David Boreanaz Leon, not Cloud? Who's Cloud?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay.
He's not Cloud because I know exactly who Cloud is because my mom used to watch this lovely soap opera.
Oh yeah, it's that
General Hospital.
Yes, that's where I know him from too. I don't know that actor's name. He looks kind of like David Boreanaz though.
Steve Burton. There we go.
Yeah. Steve
Burton.
You're totally right. I look at them and I see the same person. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, yeah.
He looks like a white dude with a pointy face. So does
he
David
looks like
Boreanaz. That's true. Although I guess we have to assume that Cloud is Japanese.
I mean, we do.
Yeah, I used to watch General Hospital with my mom, so.
Nice. I used to pick on my mom for watching General Hospital, and then I watch it with her anyways.
There was like a spin-off to General Hospital that had like supernatural shit in it.
Oh my god.
I forget what it was called. But it was a soap opera as well, but it was like a finite series.
Was it supposed to like rival what's that one soap opera? It wasn't Charmed or something like that.
One Life to Live?
I don't know. Was it like supposed to rival one of those other?
It was supposed to, not like All My Children. I don't think it was going to. Port Charles. That was the name of it.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, blah, blah. Spin-off from General Hospital, which been blah, blah. Port Charles had like werewolves in it. Here's
What?
from the Wikipedia article. In its later years, the program shifted more towards supernatural themes and stories with a reduced emphasis on the original hospital setting. So I shoot you down 6 seasons. Although within those seasons, explain this to me, 1,537 episodes. And I thought supernatural seasons were long.
Dude, let me tell you something about soap operas. Like, they say they're seasons. I don't think there's a time that they stop. Like,
yeah.
I remember that one time, like, during General Hospital, they, like, had the big news, like, James Franco was joining the show to, like, play a villain or, like, a mob dude. I don't remember what he was doing. But I remember in his interview, he was saying, yeah, I wanted to try something new because they're, like, always filming and always different. And, like, it's almost like an SNL type of way. Like, you're just, boom, each week, something new.
Nicole in the chat says, Poor Charles, that's a spinoff with supernatural stuff. Poor Charles had vampires and it was awesome. So I feel pretty vindicated. I'm pretty sure there was a super spy as well, but that might have been General Hospital. How do we sound, Tony? We still robots?
Yeah, he said in the chat, he goes, I'll be honest, I don't know if I can get through the show if this continues. I hear every 5th word.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Do you wanna drop out and then try and check in a little bit later?
I could try that. I don't know. I don't want to leave you guys with just 2 people.
I mean, listen, Jake and I can fucking hold down any podcast.
Listen, we're talking about General Hospital right now, and if everyone's still listening, then we're good.
I do want to hear about Anthem, though.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah. I would just try restarting Discord again. That's the only idea I got.
Yeah. I mean, we had an issue earlier, but I actually had to restart my whole computer, and it stopped.
Let me see if Discord has said anything. All systems operational.
Oh, liars.
Although, I guess as of 4 o'clock, there was a little bit of an issue, but yeah.
Fuck it. We'll be all right.
All right.
Cool.
You guys ready to get the real show started? Scott's not here, but I'll just...
Where the fuck is Scott, dude?
Dude, where is Scott? I'll just put in the chat. Scott, we are starting the show. He was afraid of you, Jake. That's what it was.
I guess so.
He's probably got bad credit.
Hey, I said I don't judge.
Nah, it's Scott. Everyone knows Scott's probably got immaculate credit.
Dude, Scott, man, yeah, he probably has
Like
perfect
900.
credit. Yeah, he's somehow like above what is possible. Man, Scott told me how much money he had saved up once, and it scared the shit out of me.
I don't even want to know. I've lost all my money moving out to California because I'm like, yeah, that'll be fun. Let's move out to California. And then it's like more expensive. Like, oh, great.
Where did you live before California? Maryland?
Central New York.
That was close.
Yeah, very close. I was on that coast.
Were you? You're an East Coaster?
I'm an East Coaster.
Beautiful. No wonder.
Right?
Fuck Matt, am I right? No, I'm just
Right.
he's watching me right now. Like, fuck, dude. Matt, where are you from? Do you know where he's from?
Oregon.
Oh, yeah. Fuck Matt.
Yeah.
Is that where he lives right now?
Yeah, and he sends us a wedding invitation. It's gonna be in Oregon. We're like,
is Matt
Mike
getting
and I
married?
are. Yeah, November.
Wow, dude. Fucking dead to me.
To be fair, this has like all been in the works, like, probably before we all got super close with.
I thought he was my friend, though. I'm sorry, Jake. Was it wrong of me to assume that I would at least be told that a wedding is happening?
He sent out save the dates, not actual invites. So, he hasn't done that part yet. So maybe you'll still get yours. I mean,
he'd have
crossed.
to have asked me for my address for that to even be on the table, but I appreciate your optimism.
Mike, Matt,
send the invite.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I gotta take a drink of water here.
Dude, I'd fly out for that. We talked about fucking One Sky, One Destiny, and this motherfucker can't even invite me to a wedding. Piece of
God damn it, man.
You know what, Jake? I'm glad that you were the one that came on the show, not Matt.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Sounds like an asshole.
If Matt was on here, he would have never talked about it. So
Matt says, I only wear a ring on my right hand every day. Oh, I'm sorry that I've only met you in person once. I do usually notice that, though. So that is on me. I'm sorry, Matt. I failed you.
Nicole said, look, real talk, weddings are expensive. You got to find a way to limit the guest list.
Yeah, I
The only reason I'm invited because I'm actually in the wedding.
Cut corners wherever you can. I understand. I'm just another fucking corner cut off.
Listen, as our lore master,
Yeah.
maybe you can be my +1.
I'm really excited for the Nort report part of the wedding.
Hey, dude, Alex, hey, at least I respect you enough so that when I don't invite you to my wedding, I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. You would at least like send me a letter, like a handwritten letter saying, by the way, you're not invited.
You're not invited. Fuck you.
He'll actually send the wedding invite, and where it says how many are going, it just says you're not invited.
Everyone
This is
but
conspiracy.
No, it's very good. I respect you, Tony.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
He's also getting married in like November, when it's cold and snowing. So like, would you really want to? I mean, it's not different from where you are now, actually. So never mind. Sorry.
I also like the cold and snow. So.
Oh, that's why I moved out to California.
Although
but now it's like cold and rainy.
Mid-February, I'm kind of over it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
By the end of March, I'll be ready for spring. All right. Tony, you want to get your Audacity ready? Jake, whatever your preferred recording software is.
My Audacity is ready.
Excellent. I have to do a quick mic check. So I did not have it ready. I was not a responsible person. Microphone check. Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. Blah, blah, blah. Microphone check. That sounds good to me. Yeah, Scott hasn't responded. All right. I guess Scott can jump in anytime if he can. Tony, how are we sounding? Is it any better, any worse?
Right now, it seems to be okay.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. On 1, we will all hit record. Sound good? Any questions, Jake? You want to grab water or anything? You need anything before we get started?
Good.
Okay, cool. We're going to I try and do the first break about an hour into the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever comes first, if we finish talking about games, or we hit the hour mark, whatever we hit. All right, on 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. I forgot to ask Jake, any questions, any last minute thoughts, feelings, concerns?
No. Well, concerns. I mean, there's a lot of concerns.
Yeah,
but...
I mean,
there are always concerns.
Yeah. There's a podcast called We Have Concerns.
There is.
So I would just listen to that show.
Right.
Don't ask me. All right, let's do this. You know what time it is, Tony?
What time is it?
Time for that pre-show puff! This isn't a real thing, Jake. But I wanted you for a second to believe it was.
I'm like waiting for the puff, and you're just shaking the inhaler. I'm like, puff already?
You gotta get it warmed up. Yeah.
Good
stuff.
Oh, I got it.
You ever notice that like anyone who actually uses those always shakes it?
Oh yeah, my mom used to have like a bunch. You know what the worst thing is? Using one of those when you don't really need it, because they taste atrocious.
There are ones with different levels of taste. So
This one tastes like watermelon.
I'm glad they still use the same contraption as like 20 years ago.
Well, so there's like little red ones. Those have
I
like
feel
a
like-
cough syrupy taste.
I feel like there's not that much like room for innovation in the suck some shit into your mouth field.
Yeah, dude.
At least
In a medical sense, you know.
Like
Yeah,
there's a
Because
little,
like in the medical sense, they don't care.
there's a little nozzle at the bottom that just takes the gas that's in here and shoots it in my whole load. I mean mouth.
What?
If you say don't take that out of context, like I don't know how.
What context is there? I didn't have context. I was here. It says shake well before use. Shake well before each spray.
Each spray.
Can we cross out spray and just say load from now on?
Number of loads left in the number on the back.
That's a lot of loads.
Oh my God, Scott, are you here?
Oh my God, what a bad timing for him to join in.
Yeah.
How bad?
Well, we
We're
started
talking
recording, and I talked about dropping a load or taking a load.
Taking a load.
Yeah.
Well,
Which is the suitable position for Alex? Let's be honest.
We haven't started, so you just stop your recording and delete it.
Alex doesn't even.
No,
pick up
I want
on
to
my
keep that
bottom
in the
joke I left.
recording.
Well, I'll have it in the video, so if I want to pull it, I can. But yeah.
All right, stopping.
Hey Scott, we're about to start.
Yeah, sorry I'm so late.
It's okay. What happened?
I was finishing up my Tangled one. I just didn't have my phone on me.
That's okay.
Listen, as long as it's for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's important. So
yeah.
Ugh, nerds.
Scott, Jake, Scott.
Hi.
We'll talk about Kingdom Hearts at the end, Tony. When you're gone, don't worry about it.
Good.
Finally. All right, Scott, do you have Audacity ready?
Yep.
Cool. Everybody on one?
Oh, are we restarting?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'll wait for you, Tony.
I'm ready.
On one. 5.
We're good now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful.
Yeah, we're good now.
Finally, something good.
No, what if I change my mind though?
I would refuse. I do not accept.
Well, all right. Moving on.
Moving on. It is Saturday, February 16th, 2019, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I'm your host, Alex O'Neill, and I will be taking you through a cornucopia of video games on tonight's podcast evolutionary progression secrets. Joining me this week, we have Scott Guthier.
Well, that was some bullshit.
And Tony Horvath.
Hey, baby.
We are sans Brian Nabishin Jackson tonight. I'll get to why in just a moment. But we are joined by special guest Jacob Palmer tonight.
I'm sorry, I will not be able to fill in the shoes for him, but hey, Alex got me.
Yeah, you're here. You're filling
here.
in the shoes of fucking turncoat Matt. I don't even know Matt's last name. I feel lied to my whole life.
That's why you weren't invited to the wedding.
That's exactly why.
You didn't know your name when we started the limited edition. Now you don't know his last name. It's just a full circle.
Jacob, which I'm just going to call you Jake from now on. Calling you Jacob's weird.
Thank you.
You and I have just wrapped up an incredible podcasting journey together, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. But Brian Nabishin Jackson, not here tonight. It's his 33rd birthday.
Woo!
Happy birthday, Nabishin. We love you very much.
Happy birthday.
I assume he's off having fun, as opposed to whatever the fuck this show is. But wherever you are, Nabishin, we're thinking of you, sending you good vibes, and have a good night. Whatever you're doing. I assume he's eating cake. I hope so.
He better.
Yeah, birthday cake. Very important to the birthday formula. But he won't be with us tonight for that reason. But if you're listening to this, whether it be on Tuesday or live, go tweet at Nobishin186. Let him know happy birthday, that you enjoy him as I do. Jake, hello,
Alex.
Welcome to Irrational Passions podcast, a podcast about video games, or so I've been told.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. For folks who don't know, where are you from on the internet? What is the thing that you are creating out there?
So there's this thing that we started called Three Best Friends Podcast. It's with Mike Towndrow, which a lot of people in the community might know. And then we have Matthew Wright, a.k.a. Shibs, as I call him. And he's always been Shibs to me ever since I met him at Kind of Funny Live 2. Mm-hmm. And he yelled at me. He's like, stop calling me Shibs. My name's Matt. I'm like, well, Matt and Mike, it's too close. I'm going to confuse your name, so you're Shibs from now on.
Here's the thing, though. Matt introduces himself as MC Wright.
Yeah.
And anywhere online, his name is not ever listed as Matt. So
Mm-mm.
even when I refer to Matt as Matt, I don't feel confident about it. And now I'm just racking up the list of reasons why I wasn't invited to the wedding. And if you're confused about this whole wedding situation, youtube.com/Rational Passions. Watch the bonus content for this episode. It's a doozy.
Confused. I'm pretty sure it's fake.
It could be fake news.
It definitely was fake news. Never happened.
Never happened. There was no wedding. There
There
will not
wasn't.
be a wedding.
No.
It's all fake. It's all manufactured. By community, what do you mean? Kind of funny community?
Kind of Funny community. That's how we all met. We all met at Kind of Funny Live too, and then ever since then, we've been texting, like we've been messaging each other, like ever since that day. And so we decided, hey, our lives are getting busy, but hey, let's start a podcast to do like a conversational podcast to talk about what we've been playing or different topics. And then we're like, okay, this is getting out of hand, but let's do more. So we started this limited edition series, and where we were going to go through a series of video games, and we started off with Kingdom Hearts with our lore master, Alex O'Neill.
Yeah, you invited me on that, and little did you know you were making the greatest mistake of your life.
Here's the thing. I was like thinking of people who we can have on the show. Matt. Oh God, why can't I remember her name? Oh no, this is bad. She used to be on What's Good Games.
I don't. Oh, Alexa Ray Korea.
Alexa, sorry.
She's just
Love her
crying
to
one
death.
single tear behind all those Nintendo dollars she's rolling in right now.
She is. I'm so sorry. So yeah, Matt asked her, and I was like, at the same time, like, well, I'm gonna ask Alex, and then if they both say yes, we're gonna have all four of us on the show. And then yeah, you said yes to, and I think it was like pretty quickly. I think you were like, you better not be joking about this. It was your response.
Yeah, I did. I did say that because you just DM'd me saying like, "Hey, we're doing this thing. We'd love to have you on the first episode if you can, if you're open to it. Like,
Yeah.
we'd love to have you on the whole series." And I was like, "I'm fucking in."
Yeah, little did I know that you would be all in, and I was like, "Thank God you were." After the first episode, because I'm like, "Oh, there's more than Kingdom Hearts than just Sora finding Riku, and there's a whole bunch of stuff."
A sad amount more.
Yeah, a gross
It
amount
used
more.
to be a good amount more. Now it's a bit much.
Now it's a lot.
Uh,
Now
yeah,
it's
there's a
10
lot.
games worth.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean that the first episode of that series was the first time I ever talked to either you or Matt. So,
oh, 100%. Yeah,
and
Like, I
not,
followed
not
you
that
for a
you
little
can
bit.
tell though.
but no,
I don't think so.
no, not at all. Like I think with like everything flowed well. And that I haven't watched like the first episode in such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like everything flowed well. It was like, it was a little nerve wracking because it's like, this is our first like big podcast in a way where it's like, all right, we're actually going to go through this series, and who's going to want to listen in about Kingdom Hearts? And little did I know there's a lot of people that love Kingdom Hearts. Not Tony. Tony definitely does
Not
love
Tony.
Kingdom Hearts.
And
Not Tony.
this amount of people does not specifically include Tony.
Right.
But we love Tony regardless.
Yes, we do. And so, and then
Fuck
we
you
just
guys.
and then we just like we went based off of that. And so later on we decided, hey, let's just do limited edition. Like, unfortunately, Mike won't be on a lot of episodes because, you know, as his persona online, he'll say Kingdom Hearts sucks and yada yada. But he actually enjoyed 1 and 2. And so I think he was playing 3 right now, but I don't know if he's going to stick with it or not. But
I'm curious where Mike ends up on it.
If he's just played 1 and 2, then I can see how it'll bounce off of 3. 3 is that one where it's like, every little dumb thing that we play all of it.
All of it
sure
matters.
As hell gave you enough fucking time.
Actually,
So go do it.
yeah, the reason Kingdom Hearts 3 did take so long was for everybody to catch up. They just didn't tell anybody that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with that show. Obviously, it's over now for folks just catching up. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. We recorded that show. I don't think it's out. Is it out
It's
yet?
not out yet. I think it's going to be out by next Friday, but don't hold me to it. It should be out by the end of...
It should be out within spitting distance of this podcast releasing
yes.
on audio services. So,
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I have a special place in my heart for that project. We've been doing it since August, July, June,
Yeah.
sometime in the summer.
Sometime in the summer.
Yeah, I've referenced it a lot on this show, so it's good to have you on, Jake, just to talk about it. It's really cool, and you guys are doing a new series starting in March, correct?
So starting in March, I'm not sure when this will get posted for March. I don't even know if we're going to take a month off just because there's a lot of crazy things going on personally with our lives. But our next series will be Pokemon. So we're going to start off with the first generation, talking about red, blue, yellow, fire red, and leaf green. So I confirmed with Matt in chat as he yelled at me. He's like, no, we're saving Let's Go for later. So, and he's confirming in chat right now, starting in April.
Okay.
So
there you go.
So we got Pokemon series. So we're going to go through all the main Pokemon games where I know Mike would love to talk about Pokemon Snap, but we're leaving that on out. I'm
just saying, if Mike wants to do a bonus Pokemon Snap episode with just me, I'll show up.
Listen, I think it's going to be you, Mike, and Joey Noel on there, and just begging and pleading for Pokemon Snap 2. That's all that.
If Joey and I can ever do another Extra Life together, we're doing a full playthrough of Pokemon Snap.
There you go.
Lock it in.
That just sounds like great times, though.
It is. It's like a 4-hour game. Have a great time.
Yeah.
Front to back. Well, it's good to have you on the show, Jake. Nabashin used to do a thing. We haven't had a lot of guests on recently, so I'll try and fill in his shoes a little bit where he would ask.
He still does it.
Yeah, but we didn't do it with Andrew. But he would ask the guests 3 questions. I'm just gonna narrow it down to the last one because it was always the same one. And I think it'll tell our audience a little bit about you, Jake. What is your favorite video game of all time?
Oh boy! So we did an episode based off our top 5 game. I think it was our top 5 games of all time, and it's always going to change for me. I have to put Persona 4 Golden as my top game of all time.
Okay,
that is a game that really changed my viewpoint on RPGs a lot because I knew I was like into RPGs, but not like in depth.
Who's your lady?
Listen, I will.
No, I don't need an explanation. Just tell me who it is.
You guys are gonna hate me.
You'll listen. We had a very good spread on our Persona 4 spoiler cast, so this is judgment.
Listen, I will I don't care. I love the tomboy Chie.
You love Chie, okay?
Yeah, I do. I love the tomboy Chie just because
you made one of us happy. Unfortunately, that person isn't here right now.
I'm just very excited right now.
Hey, like here's the thing: it's no matter who you chose, even if you didn't, you made one of us happy.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's what matters. Yeah.
I will say Chie was like my favorite one just because of how much she made me laugh and just like her just always being pissed off with Yusuke. Always
I will say Chie, number 1 Persona 4 waifu that I would go out to eat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you can 100%. Find a beef bowl place, like you got a party there with Chie.
You know I'm in.
Yeah.
Fucking let's go get some Korean barbecue. Fuck.
Hell, we can also go to the movies and watch some good martial arts movies.
Hell yeah.
You see, you kind of lose me there. That shit would be so boring.
I know, because I think of her like actually reenacting with the movie. I think that's something that she would do. I think that would just be hilarious.
For sure. In the theater, like an empty theater, just jumping up and kicking while the movie's going on. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I could see her doing that.
That's fair. It's funny. Obviously, Persona 4 Golden, my favorite game of all time as well.
Nice.
But that's a good pick. Do you mind sharing, if you know it off the top of your dome, do you mind sharing your top 5?
So number 1's Persona 4 Golden. Let's see, what else did I put on there? Because it's always going to change.
You don't have like a Google Doc just ready to go?
I don't have a Google Doc ready to go. We had a Google Doc. Actually, it might be in our drive. It might be under our list of there. Let me see if I can find it.
Tony,
of course it.
What would you name if you could name a beef bowl after Chie? What would you name it?
I don't know. I don't know what common beef bowl names are.
The God Hand Beef Bowl.
Oh my god.
Beef Bowl : God Hand Edition. I don't know, man. That's a good question. I don't know if people
Jackie Bowl.
Jackie Bowl.
My god.
Maybe beef bowls don't have silly names. That's my bad.
Oh, did we get rid of all the stuff? Oh man, we got rid of all the stuff. Man, you purge everything. You know, you just say you're going to do limited edition. The boys are no joke. They get rid of all the run of the shows from the previous times.
It's true.
Like, we're not going to remember that.
You know, Mike went in there and he was like, "It's gone."
He's like, screw these guys. They want to talk about Kingdom Hearts bullshit.
He like disagreed with your top games. It was like, I gotta get this out of my memory.
I have to
That boy, all his top 5 games were Nintendo games. I'm pretty sure.
Excellent.
I'm pretty sure they were all Nintendo games.
I love a good corporate shill.
His dad does work with Nintendo, so I mean,
yeah. Everyone's dad seems to work for
You're gonna get me
Nintendo.
banned.
Yeah, do you think
He's gonna get us all banned.
he can get that good hookup? His uncle from his uncle at Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Do you know any of the other ones off the top of your dome?
I know I definitely put Pokemon Gold in that list. I'm not sure where,
Okay.
but Pokemon Gold was definitely in that list, just because of the sheer amount of the new Pokemon being added in, but also like just remembering that you can go back through Kanto and like
2
try and
Pokemon
go
games
into,
in one, man.
yeah, and going back into some of those like different buildings, like a lot of it they had blocked off, like you couldn't view everything in Kanto, but being able to like fight Red at the very end was pretty cool.
Yeah. Very neat.
I know that was in, but I can't remember what I put in my top 5, to be honest. I don't want to say I put this game in and then, you know, someone comes back like, you were wrong. Like, I'm not that popular. No one would ever do that. So.
You were wrong about your games.
You're wrong about your own fucking bullshit.
You moron.
I know your opinion better than you.
Jake, if people want to find 3 Best Friends on the internet, where would they find it?
We have now have like everything's at 3BF podcast on Instagram, Twitter, but we also have a website,
Yes.
www.3bfpodcast.com, and then that'll link you to all our it has our old podcasts that we did before, but mainly the limited editions on there, so that's going to be the first and foremost
Yeah.
to see.
I'm
So we're on
a
pretty much
big
all-
fan of the cover art with my weird shadiness in it.
Dude, Matt's like awesome with the art. Like, I love how he's going to add in like each special guest that we have on. So I don't know who we're going to have as special guest for Pokemon.
Yeah, I really liked it. I've not looked at the website since it was updated with all the Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they put in a lot of time.
Yeah. What did we? It doesn't have the name here. What did we name the last episode of Kingdom Hearts? One Sky, One Destiny.
No, I don't think. I think it's
We should have.
May Your Heart Be Your Guiding Key. I think that's the last.
That's probably
I
right.
think that's going to be the title. Matt's in chat, and I'm waiting for him to like type in all caps and yell at me like that's not it either. But you know,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah.
It does say on the website Pokemon begins in March 2018. So, 2018 again. I'm just reading verbatim off the website.
Mike,
Mike, where
sorry.
are you? Cool. Thank you for coming on the
Excuse
show.
me.
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk
Yes.
about some video games.
Yeah,
Real quick, before we talk about some video games, if you are not familiar, Irrational Passions podcast is a product of irrationalpassions.com, of which there is cool stuff up on them website, including, but not limited to, my review of Kingdom Hearts 3. Gasp. I
1 star.
1 star. I gave it a 1 out of 10.
Wow.
Which is,
Wow, we go up to 10 stars.
wow, you
know,
lied on our podcast. Cool.
Dude, I think I had written the review by the time we recorded that as well. It had not been edited.
Yeah, and in the written review, he gave it half a star.
Yeah, I was even harsher.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Uh,
Damn.
He just wanted it to be good so bad that it ended up being bad.
yeah, I made it bad.
Yeah.
I willed
Yeah.
it into being
That's
bad.
He played it, and now it's bad.
I have that effect on things. I'm pretty proud of the review. I think like there's a lot I want to write about Kingdom Hearts and just like how it made me feel, but how it kind of handles its own themes and it's like how it handles being an ending to a thing. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how the review turned out. I like that game quite a bit.
Yeah.
One might even go so far as to say that I love it.
Wow.
I know. A little wild.
That's a strong commitment there for that game.
I know. I would like, in the future, I'm planning on doing a video review of it, but it will be after the fact. I've not done a video review before. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 is a special game and a good one to do it on. But we'll see. It might not come together, but I'm going to try, certainly. New episode of Input from last week. I think they had Quinn on. They talked about Activision Blizzard's layoffs, which we will talk about a little bit later in the show. We're not going to spend as much time on it as they did, but they had a very good conversation kind of discussing the fallout of that and how they felt about it. Excuse me. My critical feature on Tales of Vesperia 10 years later is up. I talk about that game, the definitive edition of that game. Scott White of IrrationalPassions.com sat down with me. We talked for about an hour about Tales of Vesperia definitive edition, how we feel about the game overall, what makes that game so special. And there should be an archive of that video going up soon. We also gave away a free copy of Tales of Vesperia for PS4. So congrats to the person that won that. I do have a copy of Kingdom Hearts that I'm going to be giving away at some point. I just got to figure out how to give it away. Quentin Hoffman wrote a really great feature about the photo mode in Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man. And he took a whole bunch of photos when he played that game, and he posted, I think he took well over like 60 photos, and he cut it down to 24 in the post, or 25, 24. And you can see some of the photos that he took while playing that game. He talks about that experience, talks about connecting with the photo mode in that game. It's a very good feature. I would definitely recommend reading it, especially if you liked Spider-Man. And the first episode of Video Game Book Club Ori and the Blind Forest is up. If you like Video Game Book Club, or if you've never even heard of it, always a good spot to jump in. We are playing Ori and the Blind Forest. It's just a 2-part book club, so it's a little bit shorter, a little bit easier to consume, a little bit easier to jump in. And I'm working on hopefully getting that up on podcast services, so that way it will be able to reach more people. That's all the new stuff from this week. There's an episode of Raccoon City Radio up as well. It's not on the website quite yet at the time of this recording, but I'm optimistic that it will be up soon. Let's talk about video games. Jake, what have you been playing, man?
So I haven't had a lot of time to play video games. So my current time is with Kingdom Hearts 3 because I want to get that platinum.
Are you on the platinum grind?
We're pushing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am getting ingredients so I can finish out the chef
Gotcha.
stuff.
Cool.
So I already got the ultimate weapon.
Nice.
But just a bunch of endgame stuff.
Okay. We're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts at the very end when we talk about Scott, like where you're at with it, Scott. So maybe we can get sprinkle some of your thoughts in there a little bit later as well. Is that all you've been playing? Like, really, is that it?
Honestly, that's it. Like, that's all I have time for. Just come home.
How many hours have you sunk into Kingdom Hearts 3 at this point in this platinum quest?
I know I'm less than 60, but a little bit over. I think I'm close to 50 hours, I think. I can't remember.
Okay.
Something like.
Not too bad. How many trophies you got left?
There's got to be at least like 5, I think. I can look right now.
I feel like that
I shouldn't have too many.
In my opinion, Kingdom Hearts 3 is the easiest.
It's honestly the easiest one. I'm like, I feel cheap for getting this one first because I'm so close on Kingdom Hearts 1. I think all I have to do on Kingdom Hearts 1 is beat it on, is it critical?
There's no critical in that one. There's Proud, yeah.
Yeah, so I need to beat it on Proud. And then
Will you be proud of your achievement when you finish it?
I will. I will.
Are you proud of yourself, Tony?
I'm so proud.
I mean, he should be critical of his achievement when he finishes it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I like that. A little spicy.
Wow, look at this. Loving this.
Kingdom Hearts 1 is by far the worst platinum of the 3 main ones. It's no Birth by Sleep, but fuck that. So
Yeah. I'll just be happy once that's over with, though.
yeah, fair enough. Well, normally, Jake, we talk about these video games that we've been playing, and since yours is not necessarily one that we're going to talk about until later, I'm just going to talk about video games I've been playing.
You go right ahead.
Tony, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
If, let's say this time last year, February of 2018, if I told you that the world would be rocked by Tetris Battle Royale in 12 calendar months,
Yeah.
would you believe me?
I would have said, how many players are going to be playing it? Oh, right, 99.
Tetris 99, baby.
Because 100 people would have been too much for Nintendo servers.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would just falling apart. Man, Tetris 99 is super weird. I don't know. Tony, I assume you're at least a little bit familiar with it.
Yeah, I watched the Giant Bomb quickly.
Yeah. Scott, have you heard of Tetris 99 at all?
Yep.
Okay, cool. We're all caught up. Announced in Shadow Drops during the Nintendo Direct this week, it is 99 players playing Tetris at the same time until there's only one person left. And it's pretty standard battle Tetris. If you've ever played any form of battle Tetris, you get a lot of lines or combos. You target a player. Depending on how many lines you break at once or in quick succession, you send a bunch of lines their way. The lines are always the same. They come in groups, but it's like a all but one block missing, and you can kind of if you catch up, you can easily break through those attacks that get sent your way. But if you don't, or if you're already behind and in a messy board situation, you're fucked. It's just that, but with 99 players. We used to play Tetris Friends on a web browser after we would record the podcast, like years and years and years and years ago, like legit, like 7 to 8 years ago, just on TetrisFriends.com, and it's basically the same as that. And you know what? It works. I'll say I am not that into Tetris 99. I've only played a few rounds. The highest like score I've gotten is like rank 4 of the 99 players, which I felt pretty good about. I don't know. I feel like I have more, and maybe it's just the controller and the way the D-pad feels on it, but I feel like I have more mistaken hard drops in Tetris 99 than I do in, say, like Tetris Effect or something like on a different controller. But it's fun. It's cool. I don't particularly like the music, which is a little bit of a bummer. It's kind of like this remix on the original Tetris theme. But yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of people are obsessed with it in a way that I guess I don't understand. But then again, I was obsessed with Tetris Effect in a lot of ways that most people didn't understand. So maybe I'm the crazy person. Tetris 99 seems all right. It's free. If you have Nintendo Online, you can play it right now. So I don't know, give it a shot. Jake, just give it a shot.
You know what? I watched
Yeah, come on, dude. Don't write it off just yet.
Yeah.
I just watched Achievement Hunter's Let's Play of it because it was like maybe like 16 minutes of it. And boy, when you get into like the top 10 situation, and if everyone's attacking you, you're just hard dropping a lot of pieces, and they can screw you out of the game.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
I will say it was a very good announcement, right? Like,
yeah,
it starts with it shows the block, and it's during the Nintendo Direct. I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be Tetris Effect or something to that ilk, and it's like 99 players. I'm like, what is this? So they took the idea of Tetris and made a battle royale of it in a relatively quick turnaround, all things considered. So,
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just like a game that I'd probably download and probably play like maybe 4 rounds, if that, and then like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try something else.
Yeah,
but it does look fun.
Yeah,
just for a short period of time.
If it wasn't free, it wouldn't work, I think. But it is free and it does work.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna do if they're gonna do anything like to like any like in-game purchases.
Yeah, it's crazy bare bones. Like, is the thing, like when you start up that game, it's like play, stats, options. That's it.
Mhm.
And it's like when you play, it match makes you. It's very fast. And that's it.
Which I was surprised by how quickly it matches you up.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think it needs to be more than that, you know?
But I mean, like, there's
doesn't.
no monetization in it. There's
Right.
no microtransactions. There's not even a place where you.
What are you going to buy, dude?
I don't know. Maybe like skins.
Like a
for your-
skin for your Tetraminos?
Yeah, dude. Like that's
like different looks of the world.
You need like a bunch of different uwu faces on your fucking Tetris pieces?
different
more
different
music.
music. You know, like yeah, like I there are things that you could sell in Tetris, but it's just none of
Right.
it is there.
Like it could probably do like a theme pack where then it offers more music and such. But
yeah, it's impressively bare bones.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. I think it certainly makes it a more appealing thing. And like I said, some people have found themselves totally obsessed with it. So I'm here for that. I'd like to win once, but I don't know if I care to play more because all the most recent matches I had, I played a little bit before we started recording tonight. All the most recent matches I had, again, it was like a hard drop fucked me, and it was like I didn't even mean to do that. I was just frustrated. I was not having a good time with it.
Do you want to get mad at me about something?
Sure.
All right. So the reason why I haven't downloaded Tetris 99 right now is because I need to do a system update on my Switch.
Yeah.
And I refuse to do a system update right now because I'm currently shiny hunting for a Lapras and Let's Go. So I have not updated my Switch yet, and I refuse to.
Wow.
So my Switch is on standby.
What's it like
charged.
being just total scum?
Oh, great.
Man, it's shiny hunting that I'll never understand.
Dude, I love it. I don't
Are you
know
trying
why.
to get
Maybe
one of
just the
each?
glutton.
Is that like,
Yeah, that's my goal. I want to have like a shiny Dex in that game.
did you do the
Since the-
Mewtwo and
I already got Mewtwo. Dude, that took me like 800 resets to get.
how does that? Where do you reset? Is it like before you even go into that room?
So you save right in front of Mewtwo,
Okay.
and you save right before the encounter, and then like I saved like right in front of him. So as soon as I load the game, I hit A, and so you can skip the cutscene, and then he loads in for the battle appearance. And so if he's not shiny, then you have to close out the software and then restart it. So this reset is actually longer than any of the DS games of before. Because you can do, you can have like, I had a rubber band around my DS and then just hit start and select, and then it would just restart to the main screen, pretty much just reload the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, the reset on the Switch game is a lot longer in that process, but
No hard resets built into the functions of the gamepad,
Right.
unfortunately.
yeah, which stinks.
I mean, you know what also stinks? Like wasting hours of your life trying to catch shiny fucking Pokemon.
But I got the green fucking Mewtwo, so you know what? It was worth it.
All right, yeah. I guess I'm wrong. You're right. My bad.
I guess fuck me then.
Fuck me.
I can go and sell this Mewtwo for $5 on eBay because that's what people do nowadays.
Really?
I've seen people sell Pokemon on eBay. I didn't know that was a thing.
I mean, when I was like a small child playing Animal Crossing on the DS, I purchased some items from a gentleman's website online, only to later find out about 3 days later that you could get all that shit infinitely for free with an action replay. It was weird. It was a weird experience, man.
I want to know about this gentleman's website.
All I remember is that I like searched for ways to get like fucking hella bells in one of the DS games for Animal Crossing. I don't even remember which one it was at this point.
It's price.
It was like the first one that had multiplayer.
Wild World.
On DS, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this guy's website was like selling fucking Animal Crossing items and bells, and it was like $5 to max out your bells.
That's
And I
actually,
was like,
you know what? That's not bad.
I was like, all right,
That's still
I'll
cheaper
I'll
than the
fucking
actual
bite.
play.
I'm fucking 12 and I got $5. So anyway, it was super weird because it was like, here's what you got to do. Like, you buy it, and then it's like, you got to leave your DS on with your town open at night after you add me, and then when you wake up, all the shit will be in your house. Or, like, outside your house. So anyway, I bought all the shit, and, enough bells to max out your stuff is a hell of a lot of bells, more than you can drop. So, like, I logged back in and, like, picked it up. I had it, like, behind a couch on because I couldn't, like, have my DS on at night because my parents. So I put it on the charger behind a couch, on with like the door open. I don't know why I remember all this.
Take your DS to this dead drop location.
so anyway, yeah, I went to bed and then I woke up and every tile in my entire town was full of bells and items and shit.
That's incredible.
And then I found out like the next day that you could just buy an action replay and get all that stuff infinitely, and I was like, man, that's a good business idea.
Dude, I
got all that shit for free.
In high school, I remember like having a Game Shark and like selling, like the fact like, oh, I'll hook up your game with a Game Shark and I'll get you, on the, as many rare candies as you want or whatever. And so I think I did that for like $2. And then people, if they wanted like different Pokemon or whatever, if they wanted Master Balls, I would sell that too. It's good business.
I don't think I've ever had more than one Master Ball in any Pokemon game.
What if we opened up an Animal Crossing, like, money for items, real world trading situation?
Either that or we just sell Fortnite skins.
It's an untapped market, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, that guy's website probably long gone.
Oh yeah, he scammed plenty of kids out of shit.
Do you think his name was the Tooth Fairy?
I don't. Honestly, it wasn't a scam though. First of all,
he honored the deal.
Yeah, I wanted a thing from him. I paid for the thing, and he delivered on his promise. I didn't get scammed. I just didn't know how he did it.
Could you rephrase that? Please don't say you paid the man for the thing, because it could just be...
You paid the man for his dirty thing.
I paid the man for a favor, and he gave me his dirty, wet, ripping favor. Right in my favor hole.
His trembling favor.
He just left his mark all over my floor. It was just all over the place.
He took his throbbing
my 12-year-old flavor saver.
The FBI open up.
What was it talking about? Tetris?
I don't know.
You were talking about favor holes.
Tetris 99 seems alright. I've also been playing Resident Evil 2, which, like I said, Raccoon City Radio. It's the podcast where I talk about Resident Evil 2 in a little bit more detail. I finished Leon's campaign of Resident Evil 2. For folks that don't know, there's like you can choose to either play Leon or Claire. When you finish the game with either of them, you unlock a quote-unquote B scenario, where it's essentially their perspective during the other character's perspective during whatever character you chose first A scenario. So I played through Leon A, and now I am playing through Claire B, which is a really cool thing. I didn't really know about it until I started playing Resident Evil 2, and then obviously I heard everyone talking about Leon A, Claire A, Leon B, Claire B, all these different scenarios or whatever. It doesn't seem that different. I know some folks have said it feels a little bit more like 1.5 scenarios, in that Leon sees some stuff that Claire never sees, and Claire sees some stuff that Leon never sees. But that's kind of just true to those characters in general. So if you were to play Claire A, it's going to be different from Leon A, in the same way that Claire B would be different from Leon A. So it's just kind of filling in the gaps. It is cool how they remix the environments and add different challenges, change all the puzzles that you see throughout the game. So that way, when you do end up doing them in the B scenario, at least they feel different. It's just, they're not different enough, I think I would say. Andrew and I have been playing through Resident Evil 2. We talked about... through episode 4, we talked about all Leon A scenario in the demo. So it's been really fun. I dig that game quite a bit. I am in the camp that does not like Mr. X. I just don't like anything that's going to chase me through an environment. Not necessarily because of the tension. I think like it's effective. It works. It's really cool. I just like... the way I like to play video games, I like to kind of saunter through an environment, especially in a game like that where it's like Metroidvania, there's secrets, there's items to collect, there's notes and documents to find. I feel like if you have a mechanic that is pushing me through that environment, it makes me not want to explore when my gut reaction is I want to settle in and take a knee and look around this whole area, but I can't because this thing is chasing me. I talked about it on episode 4 of Raccoon City Radio a lot, and I think I did a little bit more.
Mr. X is new to this version of the game?
No, so Mr. X was a thing that was in the original game. I guess there is more of him in the remake, and the way he's introduced is a little bit different. But it's funny because, like, and I brought this up on that show too, like, when I heard people talk about Resident Evil 2, it was more so, like, talking about Leon and Claire, being able to choose between the two of them, and, like, the police station, and the story of that game. I never heard anyone talk about Mr. X or the Tyrant, whichever you would prefer. But yeah, I guess he's an essential part of that game. Playing the remake has me really curious to see how different it is. I understand it's very, very different. And, like, obviously they've remixed a lot of stuff. They changed a lot of stuff. But I'd love to see, like, thematically or mechanically the ideas that are in the original that have been brought kind of forward, like Mr. X. I'd love to see how he is implemented in the original game. But it's cool. Like, I'm a little down on the Mr. X stuff, but it's effective. It works really well. It elevates that game. That game would be a lot less interesting if it didn't have that mechanic in it. So I'm not necessarily begrudging it for existing. It's just so counter to how I like to play games. But it's cool.
I don't know. This game might have a much different layout, but that Mr. X would not work in the mansion.
Yeah, it's. I'll say this game is laid out very differently than, say, Resident Evil 1. The environment is built with Mr. X in mind, with a kind of chase in mind. It makes me very curious about. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation, nothing necessarily confirmed, but a lot of rumors about that Resident Evil 3 remake is now fully in development for sure. Obviously, that whole game is you being chased. It makes me curious to see what a modern video game where you are being chased the whole way through looks and feels like. But it also makes me curious, like, how are the environments in Nemesis made to work with this? To work with the Nemesis chasing you and breaking through walls and shooting rockets at you and whatnot. Because I know, like, they must have, at least at some point, had to change what that game, like the environments and what you're going through, to kind of accommodate that. So if there is a Resident Evil 3 remake, I'm just so fascinated to see what that looks like. Because the greatest compliment I could say about Resident Evil 2, and it's been said before, so forgive me, but it doesn't feel like a remake of an old game. It feels like a modern interpretation of an old game. So it feels like a modern game first. And it's really cool that they got to do that. There's another remake that we'll talk about later. Another situation where it's like, man, this is really cool that we get to live in a world where this happens. But Resident Evil 2 is fine. I also I've been replaying Kingdom Hearts 1 because I'm a fucking mess. And we don't need to spend any more time on it than that.
It's over, Alex. Limited edition is done. You don't have to do this.
Nah, dude, I'm back in. Let's go.
You have to understand. I'm sure he's told you this, but he replays 2 every year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now that 3 has come out, he's got to go through all of them again.
Yep. You get me, Scott.
Don't worry. I'm going to be going through 1 again soon.
Yeah, you got to get that platinum.
I do.
And then the only other thing I've been playing, which I've been playing a good amount of, is more Apex Legends, which we talked about a lot last week. Tony, have you still been playing Apex Legends?
Yeah, I've been playing a bit.
Mm-hmm. Are you still having a good time with it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've kind of slowed down because we kind of moved on to Anthem for now, but we were playing pretty much every day until then.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, cool things like benchmark wise, Apex Legends hit 25 million unique players this week, which is bonkers.
Yeah.
For point of reference, it hit that multiple weeks faster than Fortnite did. And people, it I think it makes sense in a post Fortnite world for another battle royale to get there faster, just because it's especially it's free, it's available on multiple platforms, it's accessible, you know.
And also, people want to see, will this topple Fortnite? I feel like there's a lot of people that want to see if it'll finally like take Fortnite down a notch in a way.
Yeah, and I don't know, like saving judgment for later. But if you look at kind of metrics like Twitch viewers and whatnot, it's certainly above Fortnite right now. I think my belief right now, because we talked about it last week, of is this going to last? And it's still hard to say. It's certainly doing very, very well, though, which is great. 2 million peak concurrent players, unique players, which was their peak. It might have been higher at this point, but very cool. Very good for Respawn. Obviously, developer I'm a big fan of. But I don't know. My personal belief is that Fortnite will be fine. It'll even out again at some point.
Yeah.
But things like PUBG, at least in the US, I feel like are gonna take the hit. I think if anything, Blackout would take the biggest hit from Apex Legends. I would mechanically say they're the closest to one another, even though that still doesn't do either of them justice.
I don't even feel like that many people were, like, a lot of streamers that I usually watch, you know, that played Fortnite, like they tried Blackout for a little bit, but they didn't stay with it at all. And then even seeing Ninja right now, he's playing, you know, Apex. He's like, I think they're switching back and forth, but
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people still played Blackout. I don't necessarily know streaming wise how it was doing, but I think people at least played it. But I don't know. We'll have to. It's still a wait and see game. I know you haven't played it all yet, Jake, but it's very good. It's like
tonight might be the night, or it just might be tomorrow.
Yeah. Either way, let me know. I'll play with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. Like, it is. The more time I spend with it, like I had a second victory, where it was a thing where after playing for a little while of something else, I jumped in on Xbox One, which I've played more on PS4 just because I've been playing with people. But I jumped in on Xbox One, jumped into a game of randos. We ended up winning. And it was a thing of, like, that game makes it so easy to communicate with people without having to talk to them. And it just, like, the whole ping system does such a great job of getting the essentials across, all with basically one button.
Yeah. That's what Fortnite misses. Like, you can't really communicate. If someone doesn't have a mic, there's no way you can communicate with that person at all. Like, yeah, they put in the emoticons where it's like, I need an item, I need resources or whatever, but it's like, by the time someone takes, like, the time to even do that emote, like, someone's going to get sniped in the head.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're knocked out, and then you got to revive them. But there's just not really good communication in there.
Yeah, I mean, I the difference being, like, you can play Fortnite by yourself. You have to play Apex with a squad of 2 other people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you're always going to be in a group of 3, whether you are queuing solo or queuing with friends. So they everything about how they made that game is really smart. And I think it's a credit to that, and mostly that, even above the them kind of bringing in streamers and having them play it, and then, like, setting up agreements where certain streamers would be playing it the day it launched and whatnot. I think its systems and how they integrate with one another is why that game is doing so well right now. Because those streamers went on to keep playing it after their kind of paid time to do so, because they just like the game.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Plus, it gives them a nice break from having to always play Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's like they don't always have to play Fortnite, but that's where their
That's
mainly comes
the
from.
audience wants, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like finally being able to have a game to play something else. It's like must be a nice breath of fresh air for them.
Yeah, and people want to watch Apex. You know.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Which is good.
Yeah,
it's always good to have competition too.
Yeah,
just makes each other better.
I'm excited. Apparently, there's going to be, like, a new character coming next month.
Nice.
And, like, the seasons will be starting soon. They have a battle pass system in place. So we'll see how it goes.
One thing I will say that I was a little disappointed on was seeing how much skins are. Like,
yeah,
as someone who's going to pay for skins, like, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I I would say everything in there is pretty pricey because like my point of reference for that, the type of cosmetics they have in this game are very similar to like Overwatch. Everything in Overwatch is just either a lot cheaper or it feels a lot more attainable. There's so many skins for weapons, for example, in this game, and like they feel very unattainable. Which for me, and it's like, either you're a whale or you're not, I guess. For me, I'm just like, cool, this seems basically impossible to get, so I'm not even going to bother with it.
Right.
But for some folks, it's like, well, let me get my checkbook real quick. Start mailing these checks to Respawn.
Go ahead and chill out for these items so that kids will buy it after watching my stream.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, I better buy it now because, if it's going to go away. Like, who knows when it'll ever come back, if it ever does.
In the meantime, I've been playing this phone game called Hooked Inc. You guys heard of this?
No.
I haven't.
Probably not. It's a game where it's a boat, right? And they're like fish swimming under the boat, and you just run your finger along the shadows of the fish, and you catch the fish, and you get money for catching fish. And I spent like $12 on it. So the
Looks
fuck,
like you're gonna turn into the whale before.
yeah, like basically,
Got it.
what the fuck do I know? The most ironic thing is that it's a fishing game where I'm the whale.
It's like the game is called Hooked In, and it's more like gotcha, sucker. Now
It
you're
really should have
paying
been
us.
called Gotcha Sucka, because honestly, I would have spent $45 on it already.
Oh my god.
But that's really all I've been playing. Tony, let's talk about Anthem.
Okay.
You've been playing Anthem,
Yeah, so Anthem is sort of out.
sort of.
Sort of out. It's not really out. It's out if you give EA some money, bribe like under the table, like, hey, let me play this fucking shit.
If you open up Origin and say please,
So yeah, just into your microphone, you say, please give me this video game directly into the veins, and then they, nurse show, they put a needle in you, and you're just pumped Anthem, right into your veins, directly into there. So yeah, I don't know. Like you buy Origin Premier, and you can start playing. Technically for Premier members, it came out yesterday, February 15th at 10 a.m. Eastern time.
yes. Mike Burgess also in on PC. He's playing right now, hoping to review it for Irrational Passions. So he's also been playing. I got a little bit of his thoughts. I'm really curious what you think about it, Tony.
Sure. So it's kind of like Destiny plus Warframe, with not as much content as either.
Great.
That stinks of BioWare, but in some of the wrong ways.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, like, there's some good stuff, like good BioWare stuff in here, but like the amount of backstory that's kind of forced onto you, and the amount of like interaction with characters that you don't really care about, that you never see outside of the base, is it's almost like it's too much too fast. And what I mean by that is, it's basically like there are 10 to 15 characters in Fort Tarsis, which is basically like your main base of operations, that your hub between your missions that you come to. And each of these characters, basically, like, if there's something going on with them, they'll have a conversation for you. And this is all outside of the main gameplay loop, and all the ridiculously long loading screens. By the way, don't even attempt to play this on PC if you don't have a SSD to install the game on. You'll spend more time actually loading than you will in a mission. It's insane. Like, I installed it on my regular hard drive, because when I went to install it, it was like, hey, you need 1 more gigabyte of space on your SSD and to install it there. And I was like, that's too much effort. So I put it on my regular drive, and after playing for like 2 hours, I was like, this is insane. And I moved it from my hard disk to the SSD. Luckily, that's a feature that Origin has built in. You can just move a game without having to reinstall it, which is nice. And since then, it's significantly more playable. Load times used to be like between 7 and 8 minutes, and I would after I load in, my teammates would be far enough ahead. Which brings me to another point of the game pulls you ahead to your teammates way too quickly. But other than that, like now after switching it to an SSD, I load in before everyone else pretty much, and it takes about a minute to load. You know, so it's insane. 7 minutes less on load time if you're on an SSD.
Like a minute is still pretty long.
Yeah, a minute is still pretty long, and there are still loading screens in the world too. But I mean, the game looks really good.
Yeah.
So there's that. It definitely pushes even my machine. The CPU activity is like 80 or 90% of my CPU just to run the game. And I have an Intel i7 7700K for anyone listening who is curious about their software specs. Yeah, so other than that, like what I was getting back to what I was saying before, you know, you'll come back from a mission and there will be like 9 of these conversations for you to go do. And each of them takes like 5 minutes. So I come back from my about 10 to 15 minute long mission, and then I've got to walk around the base talking to all these people for like 45 minutes.
Jesus.
And then and then by the time I'm done talking to them, there'll probably be like 2 more conversations that triggered based on your responses to a couple of these that you can go take care of. God forbid you stopped in the middle of it and then reopened the game later, because that apparently, like reloading the base also apparently can trigger the next step of conversations. So for my first like 7 or 8 missions that I played after I'd come back, there'd be like 9 conversations to go have between different characters, and it's like they're cool. I think that they're written very well in most cases. I think that all of the characters that I've talked to, except for one, are likable in their own ways. And they interact with each other, and you can immediately see the effects of your conversation and your choices on these people. And that's the good BioWare stuff. But I think that it's kind of shoved in there in a weird way because you don't interact with these characters anywhere else. And there's so much. I think I've finally gotten through a lot of like the early game conversations, because now when I come back from missions, there aren't people for me to talk to. And well, that's a very new thing. It was a bunch of people, and then it was like 5 people, and then it was like one old lady wanted to talk to me 3 times.
She really cared about you,
Yeah, she fucking hates you.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, like all that's cool. It's just, it feels like the pacing is not very good on when you can have those conversations. Because I feel like, the reason why I went and did all of these instead of just being like, I'll do a couple of them, go back to a mission to do a couple. I didn't want to like miss timing on some of these.
Yeah.
I felt like if I didn't talk to someone, I might miss an opportunity to talk to that person. So I felt, obligated to go do all these conversations immediately. And the problem is, every player playing the game is going to see these conversations. So if I'm playing in a group of 4 people, which there's a lot to talk about with Anthem, by the way. So if I'm playing in a group of 4 people and we come back to the base, everyone loads into their own base with different conversations and stuff to go do. Everyone has to go through all of these conversations. So not only are they taking forever when you are going through and doing them yourself and you feel like you have to go do them. I don't know if there's not enough information because the game's technically not released yet. So I don't know if you can like skip these and come back to them or whatever, if they'll stay there indefinitely until you do them or anything like that. So, but everyone has to do all these conversations. So when I'm playing with a couple other people, regardless of where they are in the story, every time we finish a mission, someone's got to talk to people for like a solid 30 minutes before the next mission. So everyone else is just standing there, and none of us know if like it's bad if they don't talk to the people. So we just got to sit there for like 30 minutes while they talk to all of these goddamn people in the base. And this issue is exasperated by the fact that you are stuck at a snail's pace walking through the base outside of your exosuit. They technically added a sprint after the closed beta, because everyone was pissed how long it takes to walk from one side of the base to the other. It's like a solid, to walk from one edge of this zone that's just basically like story stuff and getting missions from random people that you've met, one end to the other. So like the farthest away quest giver all the way back to your suit to start a mission is like a 2.5 minute walk.
Nice, dude.
And the sprint maybe decreases that to about a 2 minute and 15 second. So it's like this massive, it's not really massive, but it's a big zone that you don't get to move through very swiftly, and there are conversations scattered all over the place throughout it, which may trigger out of order. So it's this massive inconvenience to run around and try and see all these people and all that. And maybe this is nitpicking, but it really impacts the gameplay, and pulls you out of the game and the immersion of playing the game because it takes so long and it feels tedious.
I think it's fair if it's like a loop you got to go through multiple times.
Yeah, and so far, I'm not sure if it has any impact on the actual game and the missions that you're given. Like you'll talk to the people who give you quests and do conversation dialogues with them, but then you'll also talk to random other people in the base, and they'll interact with other random people in the base. But so far, I don't think that any of those conversations have yielded a quest for me to do.
Are the characters that you're talking to, are they compelling at all? Are you invested in any of these characters?
So, like I said before, like I think that a lot of these characters are well, and these dialogues are well written in most cases. I think there's one character that I can't stand, which I think that it takes a considerable amount of dialogue to within a couple hours of gameplay for me to already hate somebody. Yeah, I don't know. Some of them are cool. There's some stories that like your character is obviously very into, like interested in. They'll talk and the character, their way, like their dialogue options. You know how like in Mass Effect you'll like respond like that sounds nice, and your character will be like that's the coolest thing I've ever fucking heard. There's some of those in this game where like you'll respond in kind of a neutral to like a sort of approving way, and your character will be really into it. And that can get kind of weird, but yeah, I think that some of it's cool. I haven't been super off-put by them. Like I'm still doing them, but if I wasn't enjoying doing the conversations, I would have stopped. But yeah, I don't know. So that stuff's okay. It's just it feels like there's so much so quickly, and I'm curious to see as I continue through the gameplay. And the missions and stuff, if those continue or if I've already basically done them all and I was supposed to spread them out, but I felt like I needed to do them immediately or else they would go away.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious on so there's like a logistic. I've not played Anthem, so full
Sure.
disclosure, right? Like I missed my chance to play during the demo, but that original kind of gameplay demo that they showed when they announced the game was this idea of first person mode in the kind of city area.
Yep.
And then you go off into your suit and you go into this giant world and do stuff. Is that the case?
Yeah, so it's really mission based as
Yeah.
far as the game is. You have the main hub that I've been talking about so far, and then they added a multiplayer zone which kind of condenses that area into just the bare bones of what you need between missions. But I hate going there because it match makes you with like 10 people every time, so it takes forever to load. And then once you get in there, like I could have just loaded into the Fort Tarsis, ran around and did all the shit and then go. And also I didn't like going there because I would go in there and then have to go to Fort Tarsis anyway because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing any conversations.
Yeah.
But eventually that zone will probably be better because you can get dropped in there with your party after a mission, and then the armory is there for you to switch your equipment. The mission board is there for you to select your next mission, and you see other players there, which I think is something that's important. That you're able to see other players in the social space, and that there is one. The social spaces in Destiny, I think, are a really pretty decent way of doing that.
Yeah.
We'll see how useful that area ends up being once me and a couple of my friends end up getting through the rest of the story content and get into like that end game Anthem / Destiny-ish grind. I don't know exactly what's there yet, but whatever's there.
Is there an open world that you can explore, and is it worth exploring?
So think about it. There are a lot of comparisons to Destiny here, and you should think about it kind of like you think about Destiny.
Okay.
Where there's one massive world, and you can. I haven't done a lot of this yet, so this may not be correct, but you can go into a free play mode on like a section of the world. I don't know if you can go between sections or how big that map actually is because I haven't done a lot of it. I've mostly been doing missions and contracts and stuff. But there are multiple like sections you can drop in for free play, and you can explore around the world and do whatever you got to do. Apparently, pretty early on in the story, which I'm pretty surprised that I haven't run into this yet, if it's early on in the story, but what I've been reading murmurings of online is that there's an early mission in the game which forces you to do some of this open world stuff. It's like in order to get to this thing, you need to go, complete 3 events in the world and then get 20 headshots and then 5 multi-kills all at the same time. And the one that people are really annoyed about is that there's one that's like, hey, to do this main story quest, you need to free play this area and collect 15 chests. And the reason why people are mad about it is because if you're in a party or you don't specifically pick solo play, the chest progress is not shared. So each member of your party has to open 15 chests. So you have to get 60 chests before you can move on to the next part of the story, which is not like super unintuitive, first of all. Second of all, from what I've seen so far, chests are so spread out that it would take forever even to get 15. And there's no indication of that, like that it's not shared. And that obviously that mission is significantly easier done solo. But who knows? I haven't gotten there yet, and apparently the story is much longer than I thought because I'm like 12 hours into this game, and I still haven't seen it, and people are calling it early on. So who knows, really, what's going on there? But that's all kind of like secondary to the actual gameplay and the gunplay and the flying around and the anthem part.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good stuff there. The flying is great. I picked Storm as my class out of the 4, which is kind of like the flying exosuit wizard.
It's the wizard. Of course you pick Storm. That's the one I'm going to pick.
I really like the Storm exosuit. It's really cool. Basically you get a big bonus to your shields when you hover, which every class can hover, but when the Storm hovers, they use maybe 5% as much heat as another class would to hover or fly around. Where, as far as I know, I've never played another suit than this, but from what I've seen, like my friends doing, it seems like when you hover on any other class, it's the same speed as you would with that you would like your suit would heat up as any other ability of flying would. Okay. So you can't hover very long. But I very rarely touch the ground when I'm playing as a Storm, except for when I'm flying around. And I think that I've started to see some of the stuff that improves your flying time, stuff like that, but it definitely looks like it's kind of a big sacrifice as far as damage and numbers trade-offs go to increase that time. You can get an augment, which is like one of 5 slots for augments on your suit that you'll eventually unlock, that increases the time before your suit overheats, which is really like you can fly for like 20 seconds and your suit overheats. Gotcha. Which I think is way too short. And especially for a class that is really flying intensive, like the Storm, which kind of wants to fly from point A to point B, hover in the air, and then dodge in the air, move, reposition with flying, and then keep hovering while pelting the enemy with explosions and lightning strikes and stuff like that. Which that gameplay is really fun, and it's engaging to do that. And I very rarely have to use my weapons; they're kind of a formality to be there in the first place, which is super neat.
That's cool. Yeah.
And there are builds for this character that if you're basically your mod that you pick is your skill. So you pick 2 skill mods that assign your 2 main skills. And if you happen to pick 2 with really long cooldowns that do a lot of damage or whatever, or 2 detonators, so one of your other party members need to prime enemies for you, which I could get into all this, but I probably won't. It's this damage mechanics of the game. But anyway, so if you pick those kind of abilities, you'll definitely rely on your guns more. And marksman rifle or something that can hit enemies from farther away may be better suited for that. Right now I'm just equipping the highest light thing, or the highest power level thing that I have, and kind of going about it that way. And I just spam abilities when they're ready. I've got 1 primer and 1 detonator, so I cast a primer on an enemy to inflict them with a status effect, and then detonate that with another ability to combo and do a bunch of damage.
That's cool.
It's super cool. Yeah, I think that the combat stuff is really cool. All of the exosuits look interesting to me, except for one, which I already knew I wasn't going to like, which is the big tanky one,
heavy one,
that I just don't care about. But a lot of people that I'm playing with, and one of my friends who I've basically been playing the whole time with, he loves it. Cool. So I think that is really neat that there's an exosuit out there that can appeal to most people. And I had this in the same way that I was really interested in the Storm and I really wanted to play that one. He really wanted to play this really tanky one. So I can't knock it for that. And I think that there's a lot of space there to innovate. And I think that they've done a lot of that, and that playing each of them is really neat. There's, like I said, there's the wizard, there's the tank, there's kind of a more mid-rangey one with missiles and stuff, and then there's the interceptor, who's like ultimate trade-off of defenses for speed, zips around all over the place, stealth kind of thing.
That's cool.
Kind of like a space rogue in an exosuit.
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of neat stuff there. I think that the gunplay isn't really that good. It's okay, but we're really spoiled by really good gunplay in video games these days, and it's just kind of passable here.
Okay.
I think the game really shines when it comes to its skills. and the abilities that you're casting on enemies. And my group that I'm playing with is kind of only just now gotten we've unlocked strongholds, which are basically like the strikes of this game.
Cool.
But we haven't they all played the beta. I hadn't touched the game until it came out for Origin Premiere, and they've done a couple of those before, but I've never seen it. I was like, "Are we going to do this?" And like, "Yeah, we should probably do more main story missions before we touch this." And we've been playing on hard the whole time, which is like an extra 60% damage and shields and stuff for all the enemies at a trade off for better loot, kind of like a Diablo way to do things. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there, and I think that so far first impressions are good, but the game definitely has issues.
Okay. Can I ask like some framing questions, and maybe that way it'll help you kind of touch on some of the general aspects of it. Is there a skill tree in this game?
No, so there's no skill tree. As far as I know, like the way that your skills and what would normally be a skill tree is in the armory where you are basically equipping your gear. You don't really equip armor. Your armor is just there, but what you're equipping you have 2 slots for weapons, and then you have a main skill and a secondary skill slot, and each of those are kind of like augments that you basically equip one of each. And within each of those 2 slots, there are anywhere like 4 to 8 skills that you could potentially have an augment that grants you that skill. So on my storm right now, like I have one that's basically like a giant lightning strike. That's my primary augment. And then my secondary one is basically like a lightning ball that I throw at people. Cool. And they are mutually exclusive. So you can only equip secondary skills in your secondary slot, and only equip primary skills in your primary slot. So that's like basically your actual skills. And then on the other side of the tree, as you level up, you gain access to, I think it's like 6 augments to your suit. And what those can do, those can do anything from increasing your armor and your shields to increasing elemental damage at the cost of physical damage, which I think is really necessary on my class in specific.
Yeah.
And then there are class specific ones, like there's a storm one that increases your combo count, which is one of the storm's main mechanics. All the juggernaut ones, I think that's what the big suit's called, give you a massive bonus to your health. So using the juggernaut specific ones on the big boy exosuit is really good. But anyway, so they'll all kind of give you those kind of like either universal or class specific bonuses and stuff like that. Stuff like increased ammo for a specific type of gun. If you're using a marksman rifle, you might want to equip a marksman rifle ammo mod, which would increase marksman rifle's ammo capacity and damage, if that's what you're using. So I think that's where a lot of like the class customization stuff comes in, and that's all like loot stuff that you find in craft. So I don't know what that's going to be like later on if you you do the raid and then you get a legendary skill that fucking sucks or that you can't. So we'll see, right, as we get to that point. But that's kind of how that skill tree stuff is approached.
So there are levels. Is there a level cap?
So apparently level cap is 30. I'm about 12 to 15 hours in, and I'm at level 19. And the levels unlock the slots on your suit. Like I unlocked slots for those mods over time. I've got like 4 of them out of the 6 so far. They unlock as you level up, and you're supposed to unlock more points to unlock the other 3 classes that you didn't pick at the beginning of the game as you level up. Okay. There's this widespread bug going around in the pre-alpha or the pre-release, whatever, where some people randomly, for no reason whatsoever, started with any multiple of 1 to 4 of those unlock points and 40,000 gold. So some people started with 40,001, which is what everyone is supposed to start with. But then there are some very rare people who started with 4 unlock tokens and 160,000 gold to just start with, which is an insane amount, right? Like I started with 2 and 80,000, which is double what you're supposed to. And so far, after 12 hours of playing the game, I think I have like 110,000 gold. So I've only 101. So I've only made 21,000 gold. And some people are starting with 160. Jesus. So it's interesting that that's happened, but that's kind of a separate issue. It's just a weird bug that they've confirmed is not supposed to be happening on a Reddit thread somewhere. So, but anyway, so yeah, as you level up, you're supposed to unlock more the other suits and the ability to play as those.
Cool. Is the story interesting?
I don't it's okay. Like you have to really look for the story. It's not that well, that's not necessarily true. You don't really have to look for it. It's definitely presented, but I think that you have to be very interested in interpreting the story in order for it to mean much to you.
Okay.
Where like I'll listen to the cutscenes and I'll participate in the conversations, and I have a good idea of what's going on. But the actual, what am I doing? Like, what's the big mission at large? Has not necessarily surfaced for me yet. Like, I know that we're doing some important shit, and that eventually this will come to a head, probably. But I'm not really sure. And like some bigger villains have been introduced, and I've seen some of those on missions, but I don't know really what their motivations are. It hasn't necessarily dipped in deep enough on those characters and those things for me to really get a handle of exactly what the story is. Perhaps if I was reading all the codex entries as I got them, and really, really Vinny Caravelling this game, I would definitely have a better idea of what's going on. So it's there if you want it, but I don't know if it's as forced upon you as it may be in other games.
So it's almost like Destiny-esque in a way, where it's like you'll have a story there, but like if you want to know,
I would say a lot of
you need the lore.
Yeah, and I think that they definitely do that thing that these kind of games do, where there's constantly people talking in the background as you are shooting. Like, it's weird, right? Like, you'd think that the shooting and the gameplay of your game would be compelling enough that I'd want to focus on that, but instead they feel like maybe our shooting is boring, so let's layer a bunch of story on top for them to so they don't get bored. That's what it comes off to me as, but I think that's pretty overly critical.
Are you enjoying your time with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the game really heavily encourages multiplayer, which is a nice change from other games where it's kind of like almost a detriment to play with other people instead of where in this game it's really like it's hard to get into a game solo. Like, that's how much multiplayer is pushed on you. And I think that everyone's spoiled now off of the Apex ping system. I wish that they had that in this game.
Yeah.
And they don't. There is not even a text chat in this game on PC, which I think was an interesting choice for this kind of game.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that should be added. There's still no FOV slider as well, which is something that's supposed to be on PC. I've heard that that's going to come out in like a day one patch when it comes out on the 26th, which would be nice because you really feel how tightly the camera hugs your character, especially when you go underwater. It really feels kind of claustrophobic. For a big PC screen, that kind of your PC players are kind of used to having a little bit larger field of view. Kind of like when you load up Apex Legends for the first time. First thing you do on PC is maximize the FOV slider, which defaults to much lower than it should be because it tries to mirror Xbox or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Are you enjoying it because of the multiplayer aspect of it, or are you enjoying
I think that it certainly adds to it. I played a couple things solo, but it kind of feels weird jumping into a mission and there just always being three random dudes there. It's never been an issue, but I definitely prefer to load in with people that I'm in Discord with or whatever, and we can kind of just fly around and have a good time and shoot some shit.
Gotcha.
That's the shit you come for, is to fuck around with your friends and shoot some space aliens and get some loot. It really is. It's a space loot shooter.
Does this take place on Earth?
No, absolutely not. There's no possible way that this could be anywhere near Earth.
Okay.
There's ecological difference and stuff like that.
I don't know, dude. I know so little about Anthem. I feel.
Same.
Yeah, honestly, I came into it completely blind. I knew nothing about the game until the day before the soft launch.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched a YouTube video that it kind of loosely detailed what the exosuit, what each one did, and then I saw that there was a space wizard in the exosuit, and I was like, "That's me."
I'll ask you the same question I asked Mike. Do you think I would like Anthem?
I think that you would enjoy Anthem sort of in the same way that you like, but I can't give you a full answer to that because I don't know if the game is as sustainable as Destiny was. I think that there's most likely less content in the game right now than there was at the launch of the original Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
But that's not necessarily that's not conclusive at all. But that's my feeling.
That's
and what I expect when I get to the end of the campaign is that it will be comparable to, if not slightly less content than what Destiny had when it originally came out.
Gotcha.
So if that, if you're interested in playing for a story and you want to kind of like slow burn through the game, and read the Cortex entries and just do what you want to, do what you got to do, do all the contracts and stuff, and just kind of go through it, and then not expect anything else when you're done with the story. So far, I could say that would be an enjoyable experience. But I don't know if you're looking for something sustainable or something that will have a bunch of stuff to do once you've finished the campaign. If this game's really going to be what you need right now. They plan to expand upon the game as any game that comes out in this kind of setting always wants to do. But it's hard to say. I just don't know enough about the end game yet to tell you if it's going to be anything more than just a story to play.
Gotcha. I'm really curious about what the end game of that looks like.
Yeah, I think that it being on... No, I know that there...
okay.
And I was making a joke with my friends earlier because we did a specific story mission where there was like a puzzle aspect to be done. At 2 points throughout the mission, there was a thing that needed to be done that was not shoot a thing or collect, go up to a thing and hold F.
Nice.
And it was more of like a look around the environment and then do a thing in order to advance. And I was saying, as we were flying from one of these puzzles to the next one, I was like, man, this really reminds me of Destiny raids. Do you think that all the bosses in this first raid are going to have periods where they're invincible and then short periods where you can do damage and then they'll be invincible again? And then my friend was like, man, that's just super familiar.
Yeah.
So I don't know, right? Like, there's a lot that I don't have enough information about on Anthem yet to really can make a call there. So we'll see, right? There's a lot of room for this game to be good. But we just have, I'm not going to assume, right? I need them to show.
No, this is really good though. This is good stuff, Tony. I appreciate this. Jake, I'm curious. You're a man I've played many hours of Destiny with, much like Tony Horvath.
We went through the Last Wish raid together.
We fought Riven together.
Yeah, that was something.
There's video evidence of it. Are you in on Anthem?
No. Not in the slightest.
Wow.
I thought I was interested in it when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, cool. That'll be something. Yeah, it's just, I watch people play it, and, it does remind me of Warframe, where Warframe wasn't something I was interested in either. I do like the fast, it looks like a faster gameplay mechanic than Destiny, which Destiny does feel a little bit, slow, because feels like you're just shooting and then defeating one mini boss and then going on to the next or whatever. But it does seem like Anthem does have like a little bit of difference in there, where it's like you're going in, you have like the different abilities that look cool, but it's just not something I want to jump into, because I'm like slowing down on Destiny 2, but we also have Joker's Wild coming out, and then the next expansion after that. But I'm kind of wanting to like bow out of Destiny 2 at the same time so I can focus on more games.
Yeah.
But I still want to keep, Destiny 2.
I get you. It's different if you're still playing Destiny 2. I am not still playing Destiny 2. Right. It's not actively, so. I got you.
Yeah, I gotta finish the Last Word quest.
Yeah, you do.
Like, I started it, and I was just like, I don't feel like doing this right now. It's also right around the time Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out. So.
Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we can see if you've been playing anything else, Tony.
Sure. I would also note real quick before we move off of Anthem, that the game does technically have character customization, but I don't think I've ever seen my character ever.
Nice, dude. Because when you're walking around outside of your armor, it's first person. And
when you see your character's legs when you get into your suit.
Nice.
Because you kind of like grab the shoulders of the suit from behind and shove your body into it.
Nice.
But I've never seen my character ever.
That's also kind of like Destiny. Like, oh, you can see the arms.
In Destiny, you can you see your character they have their helmet off when you're in a social space, and you can and that will show you. You'll kind of pop into a third person and can see your character. But in this game, like I said, I've never seen my character outside of their exosuit ever.
Jeez.
Nice.
So I'm curious, really, why what the point of me customizing a character was.
That's great. I love it.
Other people
Day one
yeah,
patch,
so
hopefully.
other people can see.
No one can see you.
Oh my god.
No, in the social space, you're in your exosuit.
Oh, never mind then. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck?
It's just for you, Tony.
I guess. Yeah, you pick the funny part is before you even customize your character, the first prompt that you get in the game is to pick You pick male or female, and that's the thing that has the most impact on your actual character.
There you go.
I hope you took a picture while creating that character.
So you'll
I
never
didn't.
see it again.
I should have.
You should have, yeah. Would have lasted longer.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, talk about some more video games. We will do the news and get out of here. So we will be back in just a little bit. And we're back. Hey, welcome back, guys.
Hey, you welcome back.
Thank you. Tony, have you been playing any other video games?
So Anthem only came out like day before yesterday, or no, actually yesterday. So yeah, before that I was playing some Black Desert online.
Jesus.
That game's all right.
Yeah. Anything changed between last?
Yeah, they completely fucked Node Wars with the change they made this week, which is
nice.
I don't know if it's like it may be short term. They kind of screwed things up while people exploit this new system that they added, and then people will get bored of doing that, and then it'll be fine. But they added the system with the patch that they, this week's maintenance patch that's called like War Heroes, which is kind of a follow up to a change that they made 2 weeks ago, which changed like your status with your guild to require because you used to be able to just join a guild and then get payouts from the guild's paying, which happened typically on a weekly basis immediately. They changed that so you have to be a member of the guild for 2 weeks before you're eligible to get a payout, which in one instance was a measure to combat people selling gold, because the popular way to do that was to have a guild full of money and then have only one person, enough people in it to make a payout happen, give everyone the lowest possible payout, and then give the person who bought the money the highest possible payout, which it'd be 10 times more than anyone else in the guild was supposed to get. So, you get a ton of money that way, and you only have to be in the guild for a day for that to happen because there's a 24-hour cooldown. So you'd be playing your guild for a whole week, leave the guild, join the Gold Sellers Guild, get a payout, leave, and then rejoin your guild the next day. I'd assume is how it was happening, based on why they made this change. Anyway, so they made that change, so you'd have to be in the Gold Sellers Guild for 14 days before you're even eligible to get a payout. So that method of doing that, selling gold now, is invalid, which that's cool. Less people gaming the system with real money than is already allowed on their standards, is always better, right? It helps promote a healthy economy to not have people that can circumvent the system and of how they are working with their economy in the first place. So anyway, that kind of screwed over people who would become mercenaries for other guilds on their days that they weren't doing Node Wars with their main guild. They would leave, wait 24 hours, join another, a friend guild and war with them, get a payout or whatever, and then go back to their guild, which is fine in the sense of someone who's not using it to exploit buying money for real life currency. So anyway, they made that impossible. So they added this system where you could, on a night that your guild is not warring, as long as you do not own territory, you can have other guilds hire you as a war hero, which means that you become part of their guild technically until the day resets. So, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, depending on when you join. And you can go to war or whatever, and you get paid to become a hero, and then you get paid even more if you win the node after becoming a hero. The problem is there's no limit really on this other than how many people are allowed on a node. So this happened, and then we went to war the next day with 20, maybe 36 out of 40 people coming from our guild, and then 4 mercenaries from a higher, geared guild. Some 4 really high geared, kind of like ringers, right, to fill in our empty spots. And so anyway, we fought against an alliance of 40 people, 30 of which were mercenaries from siege guilds. So it was just disgusting. We got farmed for an hour and a half by people who it would take 6 of us to kill one person. And our guild is notoriously very well geared for the content that we war on. We're kind of one of the bullies of tier 1s. So it was super annoying to fight against basically a full siege guild as a tier 1 guild. So I don't know. We'll see if it ends up staying like that, where more than half of the opponent's guilds are mercenaries from siege or much more great higher tiered people, or if it kind of calms down after the first week and people stop putting as much effort into getting so many mercs, and we end up fighting against 4 or 5, which 4 or 5 is fun, but we'd fight against this guild and anyone from their actual guild would be paper and die immediately when they try and fight us, and then it would just be us versus 17 mercenaries. That it took 6 of us to kill one of them. It was fucking dumb. Nice. Anyway, so that's we'll see what happens.
It's a lot to be on top,
Yeah, apparently.
Anything else outside of BDO?
I don't know, but they had some other cool shit in BDO specifically. I've been playing some Magic Arena. That's just fucking chill, Magic the Gathering online, play with no pants on, as is always the dream.
Yeah, that's Magic at its peak, as far as I know.
Yeah, obviously. You can't go to a tournament in real life with no pants on, but you can certainly play in a tournament at home with no pants on.
I mean, you could go, you just wouldn't be allowed to play it.
Yeah, I think the only like acceptable setting to play Magic in person with other people with no pants on is if you're playing Commander, and I'm totally down for pantsless Commander. Like, let's get it. But
if you wear a cloak and you don't have pants underneath.
Yeah, you're right. I should have brought my fucking tunic. You're right.
Yeah, you gotta RP harder, Tony. Gonna need you in the game.
No joke. When I was like 12 or whatever, whenever I was playing Magic while like in ninth grade or whatever, when that was kind of like when the first time that I played Magic, of like the 4 times that I've gotten into Magic. At the shop that we would go to play, there was a dude who always showed up to Friday Night Magic in a straight up tunic, and it was fucking weird.
That's awesome, though.
Like now that I'm like, an older person who like I can respect that, right? Like chase your bliss, show up to your nerd shit in your nerd shit. I'm down. Like that was the place. But at the same time, that was fucking weird that he was just the dude in a tunic every time.
I would go to Harry Potter movie premieres in Hogwarts robes.
That's fine. I think that's fine because that's like a one-time thing. Like it's a big thing for your fandom. Yeah. Like in that case, it's cool.
Not a weekly thing.
Right.
It's straight up every week in the same white tunic. It's fucking weird.
White tunic with a lot of stains on it.
I don't know if there was stains.
I know. I'm just giving this poor.
Anyway, I don't know how we got to this point.
You were playing Magic with pants off.
Yeah, it's great. Actually, it's mostly in pajama pants because it's kind of cold.
Hell yeah, it's too chilly for.
I don't think I've been in regular pants for more than 5 minutes in my actual house for over 2 months. Because fuck that, I come home and I change pants.
Yeah,
I'm so weird because I have to wear dress clothes all the time. So like jeans are comfort pants for me now. So like I would be glad to come home and like wear jeans.
Do you wear like a suit to work?
Look at my slick denim.
Well, I don't have to wear like a full suit, but I do have to wear like dress pants, shirt, and tie.
Okay. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot for me, Jake. I'm gonna need you to chill. All right. Cool. Any other video games, Tony?
Nothing super important. I don't know. It's mostly been BDO added some shit that actually requires doing this week. So I've been doing that.
Okay. Getting into the deep darkness. Scott Guthier.
There's some generally positive changes being made there, so I'm pretty okay.
That's good. I'm glad. Honest to God, I make fun of BDO a lot, but if they're trying to bring people back in and doing right by that, I'm into that. Scott Guthier, have you been playing Black Desert Online?
I have.
Really? That was my shot in the dark.
Same guild. I guess in a part 2. We marked for siege guilds today, and we fucked up their scene too.
That's where Scott was, apparently.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that.
Scott was on the other side.
There's already good memes in the Discord about it.
Good. I love that.
But the only other thing I played this week, besides Kingdom Hearts and a bit of Black Desert, was a little bit more Anthem.
Okay.
I forgot about the thing we played together.
Anthem.
You played Anthem too.
Not Anthem.
Oh, okay.
No.
Apex Legends?
Yeah, got another win.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
And then we played, Tony and I played Endless Dungeon.
Oh, cool. Dungeon of the Endless.
Yeah, there we go. Dungeon of the Endless. Those are 2 different games. And then we got a win in that too.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, we played a 2-player game one night and we fucking smashed them. It was pretty sweet.
I love the wins.
The combo that we had was pretty disgusting.
It was really disgusting.
It just might be our go-to thing. The engineer has the highest starting wit in the game. So you can get a thing called Operator, which allows you to get more resources.
You trade off having to keep your character in the same room where like a resource generation machine for basically the rest of the floor, because it has to be in the room for a turn for Operate to activate. Then each turn that you spend in that room, you get an extra bonus to whatever you're producing in that room based on your wit.
Right, and so how strong this guy is at doing this is it's essentially a level 3 resource gen right off the bat.
Nice.
So it's not super useful floor 1 because you only get like 1 or 2 turns of a level 3 thing immediately, but 2 through 6 it makes a massive difference and it gets you rolling. And then Tony played essentially the best fighter in the game.
Nice. I love this combo.
Yeah, so he does insane damage and his skill makes him attack everything in the room, and by everything it means other players too.
Oh wow.
So he has to be solo, which is, it's not uncommon in this game for that to happen. But his character is the best at it because he just hits that hard.
Nice. This sounds cool.
There's some cool shit.
I'm basking in the W's you guys are bringing home together.
I didn't mention it because I already talked for so much about other shit. I had one of the fucking sickest kills in Apex Legends this week that I've ever had in a battle royale. It was with the wingman,
nice.
Basically the Desert Eagle. Guy came through. It's like one of those guys who will glitch to play solo and then just run through and win games. He took out the other 2 people in my squad, and they're telling me in comms yo, this guy just stomped us, and I'm playing with good players. We win pretty frequently, and he just smashes both of them. We had just basically touched down, so I grabbed the wingman, which is now kind of becoming one of my go-to guns. Spin around, jump up onto the same place where he is, clock him in the head 3 times, and he's gone.
Nice.
And and I was telling her, I was like, man, this is the greatest show of marksmanship I've ever had in a battle royale, and I will never repeat.
Yeah, I love those moments because I have a similar thing where I'm typically an okay shot. I'm not terrible, but I'm not really nailing headshots. But I'll have that moment where I'll get the headshots back to back to back. And I'll feel
did you see that, Mom?
Mom, are you watching?
No!
I told you I could do it, Dad. So yeah, I feel you, Tony. Cool.
Some good shit.
Anything else you want to add, Scott? Sorry.
Nope, that was it.
Cool. We'll get to Kingdom Hearts later. So
yeah,
excited to hear.
I forgot to mention I played Pokemon Go today.
Get your bullshit out of here. Was it community day or some shit?
That's how we play Puzzles and Dragons, but we just don't talk about it.
Just don't talk about it anymore.
Yeah, but I just love upsetting Alex. That's my go-to.
Let me tell you about Hooked Ink.
90% of what I do is that.
Yeah, sure. But
it was community day.
Because I saw somebody walk around my local mall with a Pikachu with their phone out, and I was like, man, fuck you. I'm just kidding.
Nerd.
It's fucking nerd. I don't know what I said in chat, but our live viewers, Matt said, I thought I knew you, Alex. And then Nicole said, Alex, you fucking nerd. So I don't know what I did.
I see.
It's probably because you're a fucking nerd.
It's the Harry Potter thing.
Oh, yeah. You're actually,
you know what?
You're totally right.
Yeah.
That's totally what it was.
Yeah.
Jake, I've got a genuine question for you, not me, for you.
Oh, okay.
From me. Do you want to talk about some news?
Dude, let's talk about some news.
News in gaming. Did you know about that ahead of time?
Fuck no, and I'm glad I didn't.
No one ever knows, which is great. It tells me that no one actually does get to the news segment of this podcast. So basically, all bets are off from here on out.
Let me just say, that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That just... now I know why the Nort report is what it is.
So some news happened. Some good news, some bad news. Let's do the bad news first, because they talked about it on input. I don't know how much of it there is that we can add to it, but I'd like to report on it at the very least. And I'll just read you this headline from Waypoint, which is very good. And it is Activision Blizzard reports record revenue as they fuck over 800 employees.
Yeah, definitely did see that.
So basically, Activision Blizzard, massive company. We're all familiar with them. They employ over 9,000 employees, and they had to let go. They didn't have to, but they decided to let go 8% of its total workers, which roughly translates to about 800 employees, all laid off this week. The same week that they had their annual earnings call, and they literally reported the best quarter Activision Blizzard has ever had. Ever. And we're talking we're like 12 Call of Duties deep, and it's doing the best it's ever done right now. So I'm not sure. Yeah, $2.4 billion in revenue. And that was quote unquote considered a disappointment.
Yeah.
$2.4 billion in just surplus. That's revenue.
Well, that's the thing, is it's not. That's everything, not surplus.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's. I don't know if they did a mass hiring, because you have to remember that it's 8% of Blizzard's employees were let go.
It's
which
both.
counts-
It's both Activision Blizzard. So it's across the whole company, or both companies, I should say.
But it was mainly on Blizzard.
It was Blizzard got most of the hits. So there's a little bit to this. So we'll get into that. From what I understand, they're buffing up their development side by 20%. They're hiring 20% in. And that is with the intention of Blizzard specifically shipping more games, which has been a big thing that Activision Blizzard's been talking about. And the 8% of its total workers, like you said, Scott, mostly affected Blizzard, but it is mostly support roles. So like PR, quality, I think QA is a little bit of that. I don't necessarily it's very spread out. It's not like all people of this job, but we're talking like video producers, people who make video for the companies, people who edit, like very much support roles for the company. We're laid off. It's just like a lot of people are upset because we also are talking about this alongside new board members that are getting like $15 million signing bonuses. They're getting paid out literal millions of dollars. And I understand that like the breakdown is it's different, right? The board members are going to make a lot more money, obviously, but the gap is very large.
Let's put it this way: you don't do a mass layoff in the same year or even quarter that you go ahead and you higher up bonuses.
Yeah, a lot of bonuses.
Yeah.
So it would. This isn't the same sort of. This isn't a rolling layoff.
No, this is all done. It
This
happened.
is all at once.
Yep.
And this isn't the first firing or mass firing that they've done this year. So that's the big thing.
It's the first mass firing of 2019. It is probably not the first mass firing or laying off in the fiscal year since April of last year. So,
Right.
They credited it to quote unquote restructuring, which is, like I said, they are essentially buffing up the development team side of this, but they are letting go a lot of the support roles. It's just a thing of there's no real good way to spin it, right? Like I like the idea of them hiring on 20% more development roles, and like trying to make more games, to sell more games, and Activision Blizzard kind of getting more into making more games or more partnerships, kind of like what Sekiro is going to end up being. But obviously this is come at a pretty high cost, and it's hard for anybody to spin this as a positive thing when they're handing out millions of dollars to, I think, like the third new CFO that they've hired in the last year. Like both of the CFOs that they've lost in the last year have like gone on to other companies, and they've just been trying to fill that role for a while, and their signing bonus for that role has just gone up and up, while they're literally, taking jobs away from hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So
and not only that, like his salary is like almost $1 million. It's 900,000.
900,000 salary, just excluding the signing bonus.
Right. And then a 1.35 million target bonus.
Yeah.
Like, all right, if you want to save money, here's number one thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Lower the salaries for upper management. It's like, do you really need it that high? It's
Yeah.
like Nintendo knows. Like, you ought to take the pay cut to not have people
Lose their jobs.
let go, lose their jobs.
It may,
But it's also a different culture and a different.
Not really, no.
So
It's do the math on a 5% cut to $1 million payout. That's essentially an employee that you do not have to cut.
yeah.
Entirely.
yeah,
As far as a counter that to a all-out reduction of a lower employee, or roughly, if you take a role and you cut that salary by 30% of somebody who makes $70,000, you then need to cut that for a few thousand people to start making that more worth it.
Somebody did the math on this of like, I think they took all of the bonuses that all of the executives got or something along those lines and just like translated that to annual salary of 800 employees. And it was like way more money. Like if they wanted to save money, if they wanted to restructure in a way that would save the company money and like get them a better net profit, like even giving smaller bonuses to all of its executives would have allotted them enough money to keep most of these people hired. It was very clear that like they intended on, like they did not intend on cutting bonuses or anything. Like it was like, we're just going to get rid of all these people.
Yeah. Because I think the $15 million alone could have saved like 500 plus employees. And it's just like,
just going off of like what they were actually getting paid.
Right.
And that's a bummer.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, it's hard for us to speak too much about it. I'm like, it's one of those things where like a lot of people were really upset about Activision Blizzard, but in my opinion, Activision Blizzard is like maybe one of like the most like business driven like corporations in the games industry, like even above 2K, above EA. Like
it's those two together.
Yeah, it's like they
fight for the top spot of most business oriented thing in this industry, and they suffer a lot from.
Yeah, like they've never
they
not been kind of scummy,
but they take short term games and in lieu of long term ones.
Yeah, and they like very much like invest in franchises and just push them until they die. Like Tony Hawk, Guitar Hero, like this is not a new thing for Activision Blizzard. So I don't know. It's
I can easily see even if I can easily see half the amount of jobs going for a company restructuring, simply because of who they are firing.
Yeah,
it's so your Heroes of the Storm, it doesn't do esports anymore. None of your people who are employed to promote esports have a job anymore.
Yep.
That's, considering how those operate, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. And that's a vast majority of the people that got affected by this. So
yeah. And so
it's a bummer, but it doesn't I'm not surprised.
Right.
Is all I mean.
I think more people got cut than should have been.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Because
go ahead, Jake.
But I think if you saw something like half this number, you'd be seeing a similar story. But looking into it, you'd see a lot more people saying this makes a lot more sense than people that know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Because when you look at the number 800, that's a lot of people. And that's a lot of people to let go. And, you know, you see a lot of the games industry like saying, hey, we're hiring, but
it's just,
they're not going to be able to help all 800. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no way that all 800 people are going to be helped. 400 would have been an easier number to deal with, but it's just hard to take in, like, with the way that they're saying, like, this is the best, you know, earnings that we've ever had, ever, and then letting go 800 people at the same time, and then seeing everyone bonuses. It's hard to feel bad for Activision itself, it's like you really feel bad for these 800 people that lost their jobs.
Yeah. Heart goes out to them. Like, my hope
Yeah.
is that, and in the past, like, max exodus of folk from development studios or publishers has resulted in some, like, either cool crowdsourcing of getting folks new jobs or, like, the making of a new thing. So I'm hopeful that maybe something new comes. All of these people are jobless, like, and I'm pretty confident that many of them, if not all of them, are exceptionally talented. So maybe there's something totally new that can come out of this.
Yeah.
If they all band together. We'll have to wait and
So
see.
my question in regards to this, so after this happens, so say for like people that are excited for Sekiro, you know, you're excited, you wanted to buy that. Like I just saw in chat, like Matt wants to support that game, but he wants to buy that game, but he doesn't want to support, you know, Activision as a company. But that also comes in line with like I also want to support the people who actually worked hard on this at the same time. It's like it puts you on that
it's
that line.
I think back to the situation around like Red Dead 2 and the crunch conversation that happened last year of like the big takeaway that I had, or one of the many big takeaways I had from like the kind of expose stuff that Jason Schreier wrote about Rockstar and how the conditions that made Red Dead 2 were not good culturally, most of all, was that most of the people that worked on that game just wanted people to play and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think you might be supporting a publisher with poor practices, but you're also supporting a developer that you care about. And ultimately, you not buying something like Sekiro is going to hurt From Software more than it's going to hurt Activision.
Right. And so that's also the wrong way to look at it, because we talked about it not before, and while it might seem like I'm backtracking heavily, but it's the same stance. Is EA going to make this game worse?
EA or Activision? Or are we talking about just blanket?
Is Activision going to make this game worse?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't care. If you're interested in this game for the good old college try, then sure, don't support Activision. But if you're heavily invested in this game, you kind of have no reason not to.
Yeah, you should support a developer that you like, and you shouldn't deny yourself of something that you might really enjoy. Like I think that's where I fall down. Like you are supporting, like, by happenstance, you are supporting Activision, but I think you can buy that with the intent of like, I'm supporting From Software. They make cool games. I want to play them. And I think that's totally fine.
That's also the same, like, to put it in spectrum, like the Destiny thing. It's like, yeah, Activision's publishing it, and they probably were the ones who put in this, like, you know, the microtransactions and all this stuff just to help them make more money out of this game. But it's like, I'm really supporting Bungie because they're working hard on these games, and they're, you know, doing a bunch of raids and different features in the game. Whereas like now that Bungie's like on their own, like yay.
Yeah.
I'm glad for that. But it was like that retrospect, like a lot of people not wanting to support Activision in that claim with Destiny.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's especially tricky, I think, with the big ones like the Activisions, the EAs, the Nintendos, the Microsofts, the Sonys, and the 2Ks, like even like Ubisoft. So I think, like, you know, be an informed consumer, you know, be a part of the narrative, pay attention, and you know, support what you love. I know it's very...
So the Destiny is a much harder one because they did end up negatively impacting the game.
Yeah. But
So
now you can support Destiny guilt-free.
Right.
But it's not really even a guilt-free thing. They actively hampered the experience of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't like the way they generally hinder the experience, then you have very good reason to bounce off them entirely.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get fully fixed until you're going to have to make a Destiny 3.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
It's just going to happen. if you want a full Bungie experience.
To be fair, I think that was in the cards already. So
Yeah. I mean, I thought it would be just because of the whole Activision thing beforehand, but now that Activision has no part in this anymore. I feel like if Bungie wants a true Destiny game that's just Bungie, they're going to need a Destiny 3, or just maybe they make this the final Destiny and it's just they build and expand upon it for years.
Well, yeah, you did say that a new expansion's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
we don't know for
So-
sure though, right? Like we don't.
Well, no, this is just the final, like, these expansions have been part of the season pass
the season
or the
stuff.
annual pass or whatever. Like
Hmm.
this is just this annual pass. So we have Joker's Wild and then an unnamed one after that.
Yeah, but we
we
don't know like
what's going to happen after that.
what year 3 Destiny 2 looks like
Right.
September
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
Mhm.
I said it before. I think Destiny 2 should do a third expansion before moving on to making 3, or at the very least in the interim.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh yeah.
I think they will.
So I feel,
too.
yeah, because I feel like if you're going to make Destiny 3, you're gonna want to wait till next gen comes
yeah,
out.
and also
Well, not
like
only that, it's to fund it.
and
Yeah.
also like I think that's the kind of thing, if you're really going to restructure how that game works a lot, I think you got to take your time.
Yeah.
In other news, moving on. This news mostly for me, and I'll take that as face value. But it was teased a little while ahead of time, on February 14th on Valentine's Day, that Team Cherry, the developers of Hollow Knight, would kind of finally unveil this last bit of DLC that they were planning for Hollow Knight, where you could play as Hornet, who is a character in Hollow Knight. Very cool, like female, like bone skulled character, similar to your character, but she has like a huge, like a very long, thin needle attached to a string that she would throw around. Turns out, this Hornet DLC is now basically become Hollow Knight 2.
Pretty much.
It's called Hollow Knight Silk Song. It is a full independent standalone video game coming to Switch and PC at some point. No release date or window given. And it will be a full video game, a whole ass game. It seems very similar in scale to the original Hollow Knight, which is a massive video game, just to be clear. But you play as Hornet, and they put out a gameplay trailer of what it looks like. Looks like it plays very different moment to moment from Hollow Knight, and that Hornet will have a whole new swath of abilities to get as you explore a totally new world, a new kingdom is what they're calling it, a separate kingdom. That is like, I have to assume, built out similarly to the Deep Nest, which is the kingdom in Hollow Knight. Tons of new enemies, new bosses, new stories, new side quests, like the whole shebang. I get the vibe that maybe Silk Song will be of a smaller scale than Hollow Knight to some extent, which makes a lot of sense because Hollow Knight, in its own regard, is huge.
Yeah.
But very cool, very exciting. It was a huge surprise for me.
Game of the year.
Game of the year already.
I'm gonna call it.
Shut it down. Game of the year 2020.
Listen, I wanted Hollow Knight as Game of the Year last year. That was personally my favorite game of last year, just because that was the first time I played it. But I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, it was my number 2 last year. I lobbied hard for it to win like best old game. It was another thing of like I didn't get to it for a while. I didn't know you liked Hollow Knight.
I love it.
I love it too. Yeah.
I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I also need to stay away from Fan Gamer because they sell a lot of Hollow Knight merch, and
That plushie, man, it tempts me every day.
oh, the pins as well. Like, I need to stay away from that website.
Yeah, like
Listen, Matt. Listen, I said Spider-Man because that was the mainstream, but I wanted to choose Hollow Knight because technically that's not a game that was released.
it's true.
I'm yelling at chat.
It's fine. Chat'll deal. It's just Matt, really. Like he can deal with whatever.
Yeah.
He'll get over it. He can't even invite me to a goddamn fucking wedding.
Hey, dude, I don't know what's going on with that, by the way. I just received my invitation.
Oh my god! All right, Where's the ban button?
You just had to bring it up. I told you.
Just
because we're sexting doesn't mean you need to tell Alex you got invited to the live.
You're right.
How do I ban someone in chat? Last bit of news that I pulled for this week. Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct. As they like to do. They do this every now and again. Boy howdy, they talked about a lot of stuff in this Nintendo Direct. What a Direct. I don't know, Scott, Tony, if you guys are caught up, but I'll take you through. I wrote down all the kind of major hits. There's a few things in here that I didn't get, but they started off the Direct with a Mario Maker 2 announcement. Just straight up.
I thought it was going to just be a remake. Just like Mario Maker, finally on the Switch. I didn't think it was going to be a second one.
Yeah, and they made it's great because it's very similar to what they did with Luigi's Mansion 3. It just started in gameplay. Like they did like the ratings from E to M in this Direct, and then like Mario Maker, here we go. And they started like the whole Mario Maker 2 trailer is just, here's the new shit. All of this is new, and it's like 2 minutes of very densely packed, tons and tons and tons of new stuff. Like slopes, like the cat suit from Super Mario 3D World. So they're bringing in some aspects of like the 3D Mario games, still 2D, but they're bringing in some of those aspects. Being able to make the camera move through a level, kind of like the scrolling stages in like Mario 3. They use like a battleship stage. You can do that now where you couldn't before, making like the platforms that move in a specific pattern, like tons and tons of new stuff. I never played Mario Maker 1 really ever.
Shit's good, dude.
The only time I ever played it with Tony, I think, was the time you made that level for Extra Life. I believe it was.
Shit was funny.
Which was super funny. But it was just a thing that like I didn't necessarily have a huge passion for at the time, but I respected a ton from a distance. But I'm like all in on Mario Maker 2. Above all, it comes out in June.
Yeah,
hard date.
This game is going to be like the same thing. Like I would treat Dreams whenever that comes out. Whereas I would love to play other people's levels. I'm not too intuitive to like create my own level, but I just want to play other people's levels, and that's what I did with Mario Maker 1 on my brother's Wii U, our brother-in-law's Wii U, and so I was just like, cool, this is fun. And then some of the levels I'm just like, I really want to kill whoever made this.
Yeah, I'm really excited because like I loved watching like the Game Grumps, for example, like get into these carefully crafted levels, whether they be torturous or just really cool. And I never got to experience any of that, so I'm very excited to be able to kind of get in on the ground floor.
Right.
They've redesigned the interface to be more usable on a controller, since obviously there's no gamepad. I would bet that you can use the touchscreen to edit levels when it's in handheld mode. I don't know that for sure, but I'm really excited. Like, one, we had no idea about it for sure. At least speculation's been out there for a while since the Switch has come out, pretty much. But it's coming out in June. We know it's coming out. It's this year. It looks great. It has all this new stuff in it, and it's Mario Maker 2. It reminds me a lot of the Splatoon 2 announcement.
Right.
I would bet that there's a very good possibility that when folks get into this, it's going to feel a little bit more like Mario Maker 1.5. But from what I understand, Mario Maker Original was already most of the way there. So if they can kind of round it about with the new stuff that they've added, I think this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of the announcements here are pretty quick, so I'll go through them pretty quick. There was a little bit of a Smash Brothers tease. They showed the Joker character model from the back. They did not show his face or anything.
That's all they needed, and they could have cut the direct, and I would have
they could have shut it down. And they said there will be more information before the end of April, and Joker will be out before the end of April, and a big Smash Brothers 3.0 update will be out before the end of April. So I assume there will probably be like a Smash Direct, or at least some kind of independent Smash Brothers announcement where they kind of unveil all that stuff. But that's cool. It's cool to know a date. was a very weird tease. And
Oh, it
again,
was.
just like seeing the Joker character model in a totally black background from the back, and you don't see anything else is very weird. But
It was just like showing off the Joker in the Dark Knight in that poster, like
exactly.
just from his back, with like holding a card. I'm like, is that what they were going for? Or yeah,
Box Boy, which is a puzzle game that came to Switch not too long ago, is getting a sequel called Box Boy and Box Girl. It's coming out this summer, which looks cool. Captain Toad has got now available free co-op DLC. You can play the whole game in co-op now. But it's also getting some paid DLC coming out sometime in March, which is adding 5 brand new levels and 18 new challenges. So those challenges some of those would apply to the older levels. That's cool. They're adding Toadette as well. Captain Toadette seems cool. And shout out to them supporting Captain Toad. I know Nabishin loves that game. It's his birthday, so maybe he's just happy somewhere. Ultimate Alliance 3 just got touched on again briefly. That's out this summer as well. A lot of summer games. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night teased as well. Also coming out this summer. Tetris 99 was announced and shadow dropped. Available only for Nintendo Online subscribers. But we already kind of talked about that. Fire Emblem Three Houses got kind of its full unveil. It's coming out July 27th, I believe is the date on that. I'm going to double check that. But it looks great. It's very different than what I thought it would be. I don't know, Jake, are you a Fire Emblem person at all?
nope, never played a single one.
They're great. I'm a big fan of them. Essentially, to summarize, I have to go through and watch this again. Because we were doing like a reacts while they did this, but you play a professor who is kind of the leader of this mercenary school that is taking on students from these 3 major countries on this continent, the 3 houses, and essentially people from a certain house will have certain leanings, and they will you can put them as whatever class you like. I assume it's either blanket any class in the game, or this person from this house can choose from these specific classes that this house can choose from. But as a professor, you are training these students. You are specifically setting goals for them of what they're leveling out, the stats they're specializing in, the weapons and abilities they're specializing in. And from there, you are sending them on missions, and the students are building relationships, much like a Fire Emblem game, and going from there. It's really cool. It's very different from any other Fire Emblem game. They didn't even really talk about like the whole when units fight, there's like a whole army behind them. Like they didn't really touch on that at all. So I'm curious if that's going to have any kind of mechanical plays. When they showed the unveil trailer, they showed like the units like going into formations and different formations that you could take into battle. They didn't talk about that at all in this direct. Not that they ended up spending a ton of time on it. Right. I would say they spent about 7 to 10 minutes on it out of the 35-minute presentation. So there's still plenty to talk about. But what was cool was they announced the release date late July, and they even said like, hey, we know we announced this for spring of this year. We just need a little bit more time. So Nintendo, again, kind of continuing this this momentum of full transparency, which is cool.
Yeah.
Much respect. They also Deltarune is coming to Switch, Chapter 1. It's also free.
So maybe you'll finally fucking play it.
So I'll play it. I have it preloaded on my Switch. You can preload it now. It'll be available February 28th, at the end of the month. There's some Dragon Quest stuff. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is coming out this summer as well. Another goddamn summer game. And Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition S. And there's also a subtitle to that game. But that's coming out to Switch this fall. That actually looks pretty good. I was surprised at how good that looks.
Maybe that'll be my first Dragon Quest game I play.
Yeah, it was my first one. I only played the first hour of it on PS4. And I'm thinking I might just jump in on Switch at this point. It's got like some orchestral music. It's got option for Japanese VO, and it's got a bunch of additional content. So,
Nice.
Since I never really invested the time in the PS4 version, might as well. Like I said, it looked good. They showed what the Switch version of that game looks like, and I was surprised that it did not take as much of a graphical hit as I thought it would. So,
right.
You know, it did though. The port of Assassin's Creed 3. Whew. They also showed a little bit of that. Assassin's Creed 3 remastered on Switch does not look good.
Well, I know why it's 3, because they definitely could not do 4.
Yeah. No surprises. The thing is, I bet they could do 4 because there was a PS3 360 version of that game.
True.
But
have you tried the PS3 version?
Absolutely not.
I played the PS3 version and I stopped midway, and then as soon as I got the PS4, I paid $10 for Black Flag, to be on the PS4.
Yeah, that's right. You had that upgrade.
Ooh. Yeah, I was like, ooh, that's a big difference. Can't go back.
I bet. They showed a couple other ports. They announced a new Platinum game, which is just coming out August 30th, called Astral Chain. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it does.
You have like
for that one.
like a familiar that is like that you like throw out on a disc and it like appears and it's chained to you, and you like wrap the chain around enemies and then attack with your. It looks fucking cool.
Yeah,
and it's a Platinum game. It's exclusive to Switch, as far as we know. It's coming out this summer. Again, just like totally announced right then and there, and a hard date, which was cool. Yeah. And they Final Fantasy IX now available on Switch. Shadow that was an interesting shadow drop. It's $20.99.
Yeah.
Very specific price point.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII coming out in March on Switch, which is cool. March 26th, I believe.
Boy, we're just really digging that grave of let's not talk about 8.
Yeah, dude, it's very weird. And 8 just had its like anniversary too.
It did, and people were online. They're like, "Well, at least they didn't mention Final Fantasy IX on the anniversary of 8. At least we didn't do that."
Yeah. Just a day later, it was fine. And then they capped off the presentation. Chef's kiss, beautiful. With the announcement of another brand new, totally not known about Nintendo game for Switch, which is a remake of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening for Switch. And it looks great. And it's coming out this year also.
It does, but I'm still going to skip it.
That's fine. You can do whatever you want, Scott.
I beat that one fairly recently, if you recall.
Yeah, I do recall.
Recently enough for me.
You played it on my 3DS.
I did.
Yeah, what's cool, like they did this great little opening cinematic for it that is like in this hand-drawn style. It's a total recreation of the opening scene from Link's Awakening where Link is on the boat and lightning strikes and he washes up on the island. Woohoo Island, not Woohoo Island. That's the Pilot Wings one. I forget what the island's called. But it's done in a totally interesting art style, like unique art style. Kind of looks like a diorama, with like little clay looking figures. It's very cute. I'm a big fan of it.
That chibi-esque or
chibi-esque, not quite chibi, but it's its own kind of take on that.
Right.
Great lighting, great shadows. What they showed, they just showed a little bit of gameplay. What they showed, it looks very much like a 1-to-1 remake. But I would bet that there will be some new stuff in that. I'm just curious what that is.
It's Nintendo. There's some new stuff where it doesn't get made.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like
that is why they don't have a new F-Zero. They came out with what is it, AX, and they're like,
GX.
AX.
GX was the GameCube one. F-Zero GX.
Yes, but they came out with the more remastered versions.
Really?
Afterwards.
Damn, I gotta look into this.
There's an AX one, and then there's other stuff in the AX line. Anyways, yeah, they came out with that stuff, and then they were like, you know what, we don't know what to do with this, and not really selling too well.
I want to believe. Yeah, AX was the arcade version of F-Zero GX. We gotta find this, Scott. We gotta find this.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Holy crap!
It's too old at this point.
Yeah, for sure. But I want to believe.
But yeah, they came out with that. I guess I'm repeating myself at this point.
No, I want to believe that somebody at Nintendo has a cool idea for a new F-Zero game.
The last
like
I
somebody has a
checked,
good
which
idea
was a
for
while
Star
ago, is they tried leasing it out, but then they're like, "Nah, this project sucks," and then they canceled it.
Well, there's rumors that Retro Studios was working on a Star Fox Grand Prix, which is supposed to be like a Star Fox racing game that is F-Zero-esque, but I don't know. That obviously is not confirmed by any means, so...
I mean, if it's racing in the sky, I could see it.
It could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it a shot. But honestly, like, just make a Nintendo kart racer that is just like kind of like Smash Brothers, but for kart racing. Just like throw Captain Falcon in there, throw Link in there, throw King DDD in there. Have a good time. I really just want a kart racer with King DDD in it. If we were being real with each
that's
other.
the thing. It's the F-Zero series was very much so not a kart racer.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's why people liked it so much.
Yeah, I know. Single tear rolls down my cheek. I was very bad at F-Zero GX, but I respected the hell out of that game.
What was that other racing game that we had on the GameCube?
Wave Race?
No, not Wave Race.
It
was on the bikes. It was on the fast bikes.
Excite Bike?
I remember that one.
Oh, shoot.
GQ something?
F-Zero GQ.
No.
It's just got
F-Zero Gentleman's Quarterly.
It's just got random great shots of Falcon.
Not
The Falcon.
Looking handsome.
God, what? I can't remember the freaking name of it, but
No, I played it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's real.
It's real. Extreme G. Thank you, Matt.
Extreme G.
Extreme G. That was so good.
Oh, so it wasn't XG. Okay.
You were close though.
It was very close.
But yeah, I'm with you, Scott. There's gonna be new stuff in this Link's Awakening remake. I mean, it's funny because Link's Awakening is a Zelda game that's already been remade. There was Link's Awakening and then Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color that added.
Yeah, but that was way too soon.
It's true. It just added like one dungeon and color. But I'm very curious what this game has in it.
Yeah.
The artistically it reminds me a lot of A Link Between Worlds. I don't know. I think it looks great. I'm very excited about it. I love Link's Awakening. It's much like all of the handheld Zelda games. I feel it's like a very underappreciated Zelda. Like, I think you could pick any of those, like Minish Cap, Oracle Seasons, Oracle Ages, or Link's Awakening. You grab any of them and be like, not enough people have played these games, and they're all great. So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
I'm excited, especially like with the art style. It's brighter and colorful, but also has like a dark story to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Kinda
it's very
interested
dark
to see
story.
how that's gonna
I
go.
wouldn't say so.
It's got dark themes.
Yes.
But it when you're in it in the moment, it doesn't feel
way.
dark.
Ocarina of Time, darker themes.
Mm-hmm. And the world themes, yeah.
Most mainline 3D Zelda games, darker themes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mhm.
The biggest thing about it is, I guess, do you know about it, or
do you know like the twist in Link's Awakening, Jake? Because I don't want to ruin it for you.
No, I can't even tell you how many times I played this game.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if they like emphasize that more.
Yeah, it's super mild. But I guess we'll spoil it for the audience. What you're in is in a dream, and the dream essentially becomes a little self-aware that it's a dream, and that if Link wakes up, it goes away.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we're waking this fish up. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
This train don't stop till this fish wakes up. I don't know. I'm curious to see if they like emphasize that more or make those themes more apparent and darker in the remake. But you're right. It would be very juxtaposed to the very cutesy look of the game.
Mm-hmm. Just give me Wind Waker 2 as well. Not 2.
Phantom
number 2,
Hourglass?
just TOO.
Oh,
I just want Wind Waker on the Switch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as well.
Cool. That was it for the Nintendo Direct, and that's it for news. Normally, this is the part of the show where we would transition into the mail sack, but we didn't get any questions this week. Single tier.
Hey, that's fucked up, guys.
No, it's fine. We've gotten a
We're
lot
getting
of
questions in the chat.
yeah, I don't trust these two in the chat right now.
I mean, there was one.
They
Platinum
earned
Games.
the distrust.
Uh,
You can't deny it.
here's what I'll do. I'll give chat these 30 seconds that I'm going to use to kind of say how you can be a part of the show, and if they want to throw some questions up in that time, go for it. If
Don't
you
fuck it up, chat.
don't fuck this up, chat. If you would like to be a part of the show, though, on a normal week, you can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod, the hashtag IPQ. We'll read them on the show. You can send us an email, mailsack at irrationalpassions.com. That's the email address. Or you can leave us a voicemail. 404-590-1337 is the voicemail line. Standard long-distance fees do apply. Just some other stuff in general. If you'd like to follow the show and the website on Twitter and other social media, at IrrationalPod on Twitter, Irrational Passions on Instagram. It's the only other major place we are at. George Cruz puts a lot of work into the social media. He has democratized it a lot more, though. So more of us are doing more things. If you liked our hashtag MeetIP social feature, which is now officially done as of today, because the options went out today, that's Jess Cogswell put that up. She made those graphics, and George had the idea, and we all worked together on it. So it's a lot of cool stuff on the social medias. Some other stuff, rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or Spotify, wherever you listen to this show. Give us a rating. It actually helps us out a great deal. Check out our other shows like Inputs, Video Games News Show, Raccoon City Radio, Video Game Book Club. A lot of good stuff going on right now. And for everything Irrational Passions, the website, the place to be is irrationalpassions.com. Now, chat. I'm disappointed.
Oh, there's some good questions.
Okay, we got MC Wright, Matt Wright, your compatriot, and on a good day mine, but I'm feeling a little betrayed about this whole wedding situation right now.
So today's not.
So not today. He says, and this is directed at you, Tony, is Anthem good now? You said how could be good with updates, but is it worth buying right now?
I would say it is worth the $15 I will spend to play this game for a month on Origin Access, or Origin, not Access, Origin Premier or whatever. Reason why I went with this strategy is that I didn't know anything about the game. So I figured $15, if you buy it while you're a Premier member, you get like 10% off. So I saved $6 there off $60 if I end up buying it. Regardless, I'm not going for a second month. I'll either buy it by the end of the month or we'll be done playing it. Also, you get like $20 of in-game shit for free, like microtransaction stuff. So I figure I come out ahead about $14 if I do it this way and end up liking it. Worst case scenario, I paid $15 to play the game on release or, before release for as long as I wanted to for a month. I would say for that price, it's definitely worth it. I would wait if you're going to spend $60.
I will say, like, hearing you talk about it, Tony, has at least got me into, I'm probably going to get the Origin or EA Premier or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly like what's what I'm saying.
Try
do
it out
that,
on Xbox, there's no harm in that. And I can play the first 10 hours on Xbox One right now. That is.
Yeah, that's like the basic level or whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems fine.
Yeah, and that seems like a good enough place as any to jump in.
It is, until you are like me, where I have already spent money on other things that I could use my time for. Instead of spending $15, I would. God damn it. I'll start from the top.
You're good.
You could be like me, where I've already spent money on things I know I would enjoy, instead of $15 for something to maybe have it wasted.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm okay spending like $15 as opposed to the $60. I think is where I'm
exactly. At. Yeah, and like I said, at the end of the month, you like it, you still get $6 off because you're a Premier member.
Yeah,
or whatever it is.
I think that's why I'm staying away from it, because I just don't feel like it'll be a $60 game that I'll like.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah. I think that the game would be very much worth it at $30 so far from what I've played.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad though. I'll take that.
Not when you have to add a season pass on top of it to make it decent later.
There's no season pass for Anthem, right?
There's not. Yeah. Isn't all
I
the
don't
future
believe
stuff
so.
free?
Yeah, I don't know.
As of right now, it is. I would
Right.
bet there will be major expansions in the future that are paid for.
Oh, of course, because it needs to make money.
Nicole Humphrey asks, what is my/everyone else's nobody name? Now, I do have an Organization 13 name
You
generator.
see, hold on. This falls under the Kingdom Hearts stuff that we do after the show. So we'll hold on to your question until then.
We'll hold on to it.
No.
Oh,
no,
good. I'm glad. I didn't understand what the fuck that meant, and now I know why.
No,
Actually,
no. Tony.
we do have to
Right
do
now.
Tony's right now.
Yeah.
No, not that one. I have a name generator in front of me right now. Nope. Jesus.
I saw the first one. I'm like, that doesn't even look like a real name.
Yeah, these are rough.
Man, this must be a really cool thing. Really
Well,
lore
you see, the
enriched
thing
thing.
is, you have to use his full name of Anthony.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's try that. We got more letters to work with.
Dear.
No, not that. Boy, that was rough. That one's bad too. That's bad. No, that was just the same one. Tony, I feel like maybe you are. It's impossible to create a good Organization 13 name for you. Maybe you're unnortable.
Okay.
My
I
God.
don't know what any of this means.
My God. I did make a good one for you, Nicole, but I forgot what it was. We'll loop back around to that once we get to our Kingdom Hearts segment. But for now, we've reached the end of the show, you guys. Which means it's time for bets.
Bets.
This week's bet, Jake, we're betting on. You'll get it.
Solid explanation.
This week's bet. This time next week, how many viewers will Anthem have on Twitch? Now, for point of reference, I do love to give y'all a good point of reference. I pulled up Anthem's Twitch numbers before we started the show. I'll pull them up again now. Browse.
You're saying like this time next week?
Yeah, this time next week. So essentially, Anthem officially launches on Friday, February 22nd. Right now, Anthem has, at this moment, 35.6 thousand viewers on Twitch.
35.6.
So, and keep in mind, it is soft release right now. This time next week, Saturday next week, at the end of the podcast, how many viewers will Anthem have on Twitch?
Does the guest go first?
Just I'm gonna let you guys think on it. Take it in.
Okay.
35,000.
Okay, Tony. I like that. It's good because I bet high. So I bet 64,000. Jake, how much do you bet?
I honestly don't think they're going more than 40,000.
40,000. Scott?
All right, stall for time. Give me that bet again.
This time next week, how many viewers will Anthem have on Twitch? It's a simple one. It's very straightforward, but I think it's an interesting bet. It's inspired by a recent Easy Allies bet.
I'm gonna go with 30.
30,000. Cool.
Yep.
So just so you know, Jake, we have betting teams on the show. Scott and Nabashin are a betting team. Tony and I are a betting team. Tony and my team is Team Bout to Bust a Bet.
You're waiting for the.
I'm gonna bust.
I love the fucking pregnant pause right there. Did you just say I'm about to bust, Tony?
Yeah, dude.
That's so fucking good. And Scott and Nabashin's team is Team Doubling Down.
Nice.
Jake, this year we're trying something different where the guests throughout the year have their own team to compete against our team. So you are on the Guzzlin' Guesters.
Nope. No, we're changing it.
You want to change the name?
The Norders.
The Norders. I like this.
Sorry, Tony. It's a Kingdom Hearts thing.
Oh God. Sorry, next week's guest will change it again.
I like that idea though. The guest just changes everywhere. Last week's bet. Let's resolve last week's bet. Next
We're
Friday.
putting down a rule for this though.
What did you say, Scott?
They got 10 seconds to change, or it goes back to the guzzling guesses for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Guzzling guesters for life, dude. I don't even remember this bet. Last week's bet. Next Friday, Far Cry New Dawn launches on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. On the official launch trailer. Oh yeah. On the official launch trailer from the most Ubisoft official YouTube channel I can find, because sometimes it's hard to find these. And I'm going to make a private window for this, just to make sure. How many, or it was what will the number of dislikes be? Do y'all know Ubisoft's official? I imagine it's just youtube.com/Ubisoft, right?
Stands to reason.
Yes. Ubisoft North America, too. Man, they have like a bunch of videos out for Far Cry New Dawn. That game, actually, I'll say this. That game seems fine.
It's another Far Cry game.
Yeah. Here we go. Far Cry New Dawn launch gameplay trailer. So, this is again, what will the number of dislikes be? I said 7,800. Scott said 35,000. Tony said 2,000. Nabishin said 500. The correct number is 222.
Wow.
So Nabishin wins.
Wow.
Which brings Team Doubling Down up to 2 points. Team About to Bust a Bet still rock steady at 1 point. And
Yeah, dude. Not like there was much of a difference anyway. We were fucking tied.
The Norders have 3 points.
Nice. Good job, Norders.
It's all Andrew Cogswell, so. And in the future, it's you too.
In the future, it could be me.
I like this.
We still doing the thing where they like inherit the points of all episodes since the last guest.
Yeah, so Jake's bet is worth 2 points if he gets it right.
Yep.
So it's by the end of the year, it could be all of us joining forces to try and beat the guests.
And then just getting deleted.
And just, yeah, absolutely getting destroyed. Which I'm into.
My question is, did you say what you were thinking the views were going to be?
Yeah, I said 64,000.
60. Oh my God.
Yeah, I had the high end.
Yikes.
I like it, though. Tony and I got a good spread here. Scott totally fucking prices righted you, though.
Whatever. Scott always tries to fucking get one over on me. I'm used to it.
The only reason I don't think it's going to be that high is because the major streamers are...
All it takes is one, dude. We found that with Sea of Thieves, man. All it takes is one.
People still...
I think Summit is still playing Apex too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am optimistic that the weekend that Anthem launches officially, I feel like it'll be big.
I don't know. I think that with something like this, like the release is happened already. You know, like I feel like a 1.0 release in 5 days is not going to be nearly as interesting as.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's what we've already got.
No.
Yeah. I think that's totally a possibility.
I think it'll spike for that day, but unless that 1.0 release update makes the game much better than it already is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People have seen what they're getting already.
Yeah. The only way like the spikes could happen is if they add in a raid and then people want to see the raid. Because that's usually what happens with Destiny. Like when there's like a day one raid, like tons of viewers for Destiny.
Yeah, because I mean the raids are the coolest part of that game by far, and that's like the neat thing that Destiny did different. So it kind of makes sense that people will want to tune in for that and pretty much just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a possibility that Anthem does that or something comparable to it, but where they add in like a piece of endgame content or unlock it. But I doubt it would happen day 2 of it being available to the public.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe you guys are right. I don't know. We'll see.
I will put this in stone. Division 2 will have more viewers than Anthem.
Damn. Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Tony, you're going to play the Division 2?
No, probably not. We'll see. Well, I won't say like for sure not, but
Never say never.
yeah, who knows?
Gotcha. We've reached the end of the show. Jake, thank you so much for coming on. I hope
Thank
had a
you
good
for
time.
having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
It's been fun. It's good to have you on here finally, so I can just tell you how I feel about Matt and how betrayed I feel.
Listen, if you want to take him out of the group chat, and then fine with it.
Damn, that's the ultimate insult.
I'm here for the ultimate insults. What do I normally say here at the end? Thank you everybody so much for listening. I totally blanked for a second there. Thank you everybody so much for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, Tony and Scott, for joining me as always. I love you boys. Big hugs all the way around. Happy birthday, Namishin, wherever you are. I hope you had a great day and a great night. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. That's all I got. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games, stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week.
Something about title.
This is the part where you want to keep recording, Jake.
Yeah, I'm still recording.
Cool. Titles.
Just a sec. Let me pull this shit up.
Now, I want a disclaimer. These are Alex O'Neill titles. They are not Brian Nobishin Jackson titles, so I understand they suck or whatever. Okay? I don't want to
whatever.
I don't want to fucking hear it.
All right, we got Scott in the Immaculate Credit. Matt is fucking dead to me. Beef Bowl, God Hand Edition. Tetris Battle Royale. Animal Crossing Shady Dead Drops. Throbbing Flavor Saver.
It's Favor Saver. Thank you.
I'm the Whale. And Matt is just the worst.
There's already 3 I can't even choose from. Like,
Jake, if you had to pick one of these to be the title for Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 413, what would you choose?
oh my god, I don't know.
Keep in mind, you are solidifying a piece of Irrational Passions history.
My god, it's between Throbbing Favor Saver and the worst.
Scott, what do you like?
I like the idea of you saying I'm the whale.
Okay. Tony, what do you like?
I like all of them.
You gotta pick one, dude.
Nah, we have 4 people, so I'm allowed to be different.
That's right, Alex. You don't get to be different this time.
Fuck. What do you like, Jake?
We got one for Throbbing Favor Saver, or for Matt is just the worst, and we got one for I'm the whale.
I really like Matt. It's just the worst. It's just it's such a good recurring bit. And the thing is, like, half the people that listen to the show aren't even gonna know who the fuck Matt is.
No, right.
I love
like,
it.
what's wrong with this
Just
Matt
out
guy?
of context, Matt is just the worst. Matt in the
You
chat.
basically give them all the context they needed.
I mean, we do bring up the fact that you weren't invited to.
No, Matt brings up a good point. He says, I sat in on the Vesperia/Nintendo Direct thing the other day. No, Matt, you know I'm just kidding, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. You're the worst.
I am a little pissed about the wedding, but, like, I could let it go.
So good, though.
I like I'm the Whale. We'll do I'm the Whale.
That is a good one, too.
They're all good. Jake, at the top here, I've got a little sentence I'd like you to read. You can do it in your most professional podcast voice, your silliest voice, whatever you prefer. Are you in
Just the one in bold?
Yeah, you're in the doc. I forgot to ask.
Yeah. You're listening to the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 413.
I'm the whale. I'm the one who gets caught.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, you can stop recording now. We're going to go talk about Kingdom Hearts. You're free to go.
Gross.
Love you, bud.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Scott, what's the Kingdom Hearts update?
All right, so I booted the game up and I selected, the toy world.
Yeah, the one with the toys and shit.
Yeah, the one with the toys and shit. And I ended up at Tangled. I was like, okay.
Scott.
That's a thing you can do now. You can get lost in the gummy ship world.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then choose the wrong world.
You can roam around. Have you ever seen Tangled, Scott?
No,
Okay.
I just haven't.
Okay.
I mean,
You
fucking
were in the
fine,
same
dude.
boat as me. You were in the same boat as me.
Oh, I
So
didn't know. No, we talked about this. I knew.
I kind of understand the Rapunzel story, and I also kind of understand that Disney likes to change these stories a bit because they should.
Yeah.
So good on them for that.
Yeah. What do you think? Did you finish the Tangled world, or are you still in it?
I did.
Okay, cool. What
Is this one of the longer ones?
average? It's average. They're all about that long.
Good.
Yeah, because so a thing that you brought up the other day or the other week that I didn't necessarily want to spoil for you, but at this point that you've gotten through a world, you probably have realized you only go through the worlds once, so they're all kind of longer. So,
quick question for you: was Tangled the first world you gone to? I didn't.
It's Twilight Town, the one that you have to go to first, and then Toy Story or Tangled. So yeah,
Okay.
I would say yes. Yeah. I play Kingdom Hearts 2.9 before this.
Such a good bit, right?
The best troll
It's
ever.
so funny. Nicole says, "I saw Tangled but forgot the story."
You know what? Playing through the world makes me want to watch the movie. I still need to watch the movie.
It's good. It's a very good Disney movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I thought the game looked good before.
Yeah, dude.
With this set of characters in it, it's like, oh, this looks fantastic.
Yeah, dude. Like that specific style of Disney movie, like translates so well to Kingdom Hearts too.
Yeah, I feel like that actually might be the best looking world.
I don't know. There's a lot of content, like the pirates.
No,
one.
there is. But I think if you're matching like Kingdom Hearts with a world, I feel like that's like the best looking one.
Yeah, it looks great. Like the lighting, like when you, I don't know how much it stuck out to you, Scott, but like when you go through that cave and then come out and see the Rapunzel's tower, like that whole shot is so great looking. Yeah, totally with you. How do you feel about like the worlds like being like much bigger and broader?
It's much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still much better.
Yeah,
because we touched about that before, and there's also a follow up to the lack of inputs from that Nobgen had a problem with, and I have to reiterate now that I have Rising Edge, I think it's called, and I just got High Jump or Super Jump.
Oh yeah,
when you're in full motion. I honestly think that's more of a product of the game easier than in the past.
Yeah.
I'd say one was closer to the hardest.
Yes.
And then it kind of gets a little easier as time moves on.
Yeah.
But it's mostly because they give you
so much you can use.
They give you more options.
Yeah.
Like the rest of what you can do is just as powerful as before. But now they give you a ton more options to play with, which just in general, when those options are just as good or even slightly better, even if they're slightly better, I should say, that makes the game easier and it makes you not have to use them all. So when they took out the square mash combo extenders, like what was it? Horizontal slash in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yeah.
That's the main one.
Yeah.
What they replaced it with is flow motion extension. So, like, take this for example. Before you hit your ground combo finisher, you use your Rising Edge, you air dash to a wall, and then you use your flow motion attack from off a wall to then use that to extend the combo.
Yeah. And
that's something that I did in the Entangled world.
Yeah.
And it feels much better than hitting square a couple of times.
Yeah, and it's like a thing of like they were kind of half of the way there with like Dream Drop Distance and how flow motion worked in that game, but I feel like they got all the way there with 3.
Right, and it is very nice that you have a good chunk of it introduced to you right off the bat, or else I would not have been able to do that.
Yeah.
When I got Rising it. I would have not had enough practice with it.
And I like that you can go in and like actually turn off those flow motion things one by one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like them, you
Yep,
can.
they're just added skills onto your ability list. So if one's hindering you and you don't want to use it, just turn it off.
Yeah, which is cool. Smart. Cool, man.
Yep.
Still digging it?
Oh yeah.
Cool. That makes me very happy.
Yeah, the worlds in this I feel are fleshed out much better than they've been before.
Yeah, me too.
So it's on one hand, even though the game isn't strictly on rails, you can easily play it that way.
Yeah.
So it's if you just need to get through a world, you can pretend that the game's on rails and just go right through it.
Yeah.
And it's when you want to take your time and you just want to up and leave, go to somewhere else, either grind for a bit to play with a skill or something of that nature, you can also go and do that.
Yeah. Cool, man. Any other thoughts, feelings?
So far, the only thing I really have to say is the Tangled World was nice. I enjoyed that storyline, and they essentially, as opposed to in the past, they integrated this particular story more fully, better than they did before. Like, for example, Hollow Bastion, or how Beauty and the Beast worked in Kingdom Hearts 1, was kind of a mess when you think about it.
Yeah, oh yeah. They kind of course corrected into, but yeah.
Right. So was kind of how they leave Tarzan's world on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And then it's only later do you find out that you have to go back and complete that story.
Yeah. Tarzan's just hanging out, man. Just living his best life.
One, it's a bit nice that you only go through worlds once, but at the same time, I can see that I can kind of see myself going back to Twilight Town.
Yeah.
And like the worlds that I want to go back to, right? Because it's before I didn't really care about going to Atlantica 3 times.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't, and I skipped it until I could do it all in one go.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was any world that I could skip and do that with is what I did with Kingdom Hearts 2, which I believe was only 2.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's only 2 as well.
Yep.
Atlantica, and I think
I mean, you had to go back to all those worlds twice, so you can kind of
Twice, yeah.
Right.
I guess it does. It makes you go to them in a relatively specific order, but stuff like Atlantica, 100 Acre Woods, things like that, you obviously kind of are intended to revisit multiple times, and so you hit like a threshold.
Well, I think there's a few. That you can kind of skip the first time, and then you can essentially do it. You'll go get booted back to the world selector, and then the second half will also be there too.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it's one specific world that you can do.
Yeah.
That. Maybe it's Kingdom Hearts 1 you can do that with.
Maybe it's Kingdom Hearts 1.
You can actually skip, is it Halloween Town or Agrabah? You can skip either one in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, totally. Or it's Halloween Town or Atlantica.
Atlantica, yeah.
Rip the dream,
Totally
Atlantica. I love you.
Hey, she's still in 3.
Yeah, she is. She's there. Cool, man. Keep at it, Scott.
I can.
Keep at it.
I will do. I would also say I don't know what he was talking about from last time, where there's not enough Kingdom Hearts story.
That has been a divisive topic, I'll say. Some people feel one way, some people feel another.
I can kind of see where they're coming if... At the same time, I can't.
I mean,
it's not like Dream Drop Distance was that heavily into the story.
Yeah, I mean,
it
just
was near the end, but all Kingdom Hearts games were.
Yeah, that's that. I'm on the same page as you, Scott. I'm curious if you are still on that page by the time you finish 3 and like you've kind of see how it's paced out throughout the whole game. But we'll see. Like it's a lot happens in that game.
To me, it seems like this is one of the most story heavies.
Yeah,
because it looks like there's a in between every world that you do.
There's the little interstitial scenes.
There's a small increasing story.
Yeah.
as you go through, and that was not the case before.
And I think
It's
that's
the story that you were progressing through was, oh, we're taking a break from the story so you can open up more gateways.
yeah.
The part of the story that you got through for doing a good chunk of those worlds was opening the gateways.
Yeah.
That was it.
And it's funny because we talked about this on the Kingdom Hearts episode of the Three Best Friends limited edition. I think it's the way everything is doled out is really good, personally. But I've also heard folks in the same camp as Andrew, where they feel like they wanted more kind of throughout the game. But I don't know. It's
Again,
a Kingdom Hearts game.
I can see it making sense coming off of Birth by Sleep, but I guess if you kind of took the route of Birth by Sleep and then you did just the intermediary game stories, not Dream Drop Distance, but 0.2, then 2.8, and then stuff like that, I can see where you'd be if that's what you did.
Yeah.
But this is the heaviest it's been since Birth by Sleep.
I think it's very comparable.
It's heavier.
Yeah, I think it's very comparable to a numbered Kingdom Hearts game, and to that I would include Birth by Sleep. So I'm with you, Scott.
Right.
Nomishin's with you too, just so you know. We talked about that more in our little spoiler discussion. Video games are good.
They are.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna call it there. You guys can.
I figured it out.
Oh.
They wanted a movie. They wanted to not play Kingdom Hearts 3, and they wanted it condensed into the 6-hour movie.
I don't know, man.
Just a story.
I saw somebody. It happens. I won't even say because I don't want to give you a frame of time on how long the game is, Scott. So, but I feel like
I'm expecting something like 20 hours, maybe 30.
It's longer than 20 hours. But
yeah,
I saw basically the movie version of Kingdom Hearts 3. Right, somebody took all the cutscenes. I was like, that's plenty. I looked at the timestamp on it. I'm like, that's enough, actually.
So, I don't even want to know.
It's like I bet.
Yeah,
because they do a much better this time around, and
yeah, they integrate it way better.
Integrating the story outside of the cutscenes.
Yeah, man. Thinking about it back on the Zigbar lines from the Coliseum or from Olympus, and I was like, man, this game's good.
Guys, I gotta go play Kingdom Hearts 3.
I gotta fucking go play Kingdom Hearts.
It's time. It's time to end it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. Have a good night.